Yes, sir. My name is Q Dang. I have a BA in IT networking, and I ran over Soumya name online and give her a call and decided to take a class, and she said it would be great intro, to my career. So here I am.
Okay. So how long have you been working as, you said networking guy? What did you actually? I didn't get that.
Well, no, I just graduated, so I have no work experience.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. So how do you pronounce your name? Q Dang, is that correct, or
Just Q is fine.
Q? Okay.
Yeah, Dang is my last name. Just Q is fine.
Q. Okay. All right. Q. Okay. So Shruti, how about you?
Good morning, everyone. This is Shruti. I did masters in finance from Monroe College, and after that I was working in Powerhouse Logistics. Recently I'm not working. So I went to Indeed.com, and then I talked with Soumya, and she said it would be great. So this is kind of demo class for me. That's all.
Do you have any IT background? What do you know about computing?
I did BBA in Nepal, and I did study about C, C++, Oracle, and those stuff in Nepal. But practically, I haven't done any kind of IT work. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Welcome. Tintuja.
Hi Lalit, and a very good morning to everybody. My name is Sindhuja, and I moved to US close to a year back, and I have a work experience of close to 2 years in India. I was in HR, working for Dr. Reddy's and Novartis, and I did my bachelor's in computer sciences and my master's in MBA. So I'm here in US to to make a place in IT. So I thought, let me start with QMBA.
Great. Welcome. Did I miss anyone? So I have spoken to Natalie, Pallavi, Prajakta, Q, Shruti, Sindhuja, and Soumya is online. She's the coordinator. And I've spoken to Parveen. Okay, so if I missed anyone, you can let me know. So very good. We have a good mix of crowd. Some have IT experience, some do not. And that's why the first class is introduction to what we're doing here. Everybody with phone can mute your phone. That will be great. Because we're getting a lot of background sound.
This one, the pan to wear. Something that you could eat.
Okay, this is good. This is good. Yeah, please keep your phone on mute, and if you have any question at that time, please make sure that there are no background sounds coming from your side. You can also send your question via the chat, and whenever I get a chance to look at the screen, I will respond to you. You will get my email address, and after the class, if you have any question, you can email me. But please, please, please stop me from going forward if you don't understand anything. Okay, so good. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the role of business analyst first. As I said, first 3 weeks we're going to concentrate on business analysis, and then last 2 weeks we will be concentrating on QA methodology. So let's start about what is the role of a BA? What does BA mean? What is the business analysis job, day-to-day work? So basically, as business analyst name in itself says, we have to analyze the business. So the company that we are working for, the company that has hired us as a business analyst, we have to understand what they are into, what kind of a business they are doing, what are their processes, business rules, line of businesses, the products and services that they provide, and what are their needs as far as the software or IT is concerned. So their IT needs. First, you have to understand what are they into, okay? And then we have to understand what are their requirements. So what are their needs that we can resolve from the IT point of view because we are working as IT business analysts, not just purely business analysts. We are going to work as IT business analysts. So first we have to understand the business, how they do the business, and then after that, how we can help them with the solution, software solutions, and then we have to create those softwares. Make sure that our team creates those softwares, and we provide these to the business users. Okay. Now, you might say, "Oh, creating the software? I don't know how to create a software. I don't know what the coding means. I have never done any coding. I don't know, how to tell someone to even create that software." So you don't have to worry about coding or development or how to write a software. You don't need that. All your role requires you to do is become a liaison, a bridge between the business and the core IT team, who is going to write the solution, create the solution, and then once we have ensured that this software, this code has been written, and this application serves the purpose of the business, we show it to the business users and we deploy it, meaning we install it on their systems and we make sure that they're using it and they have no problems using that software that we have created. Software or solution, any kind of a process solution. So that's why we are there for the business users to ensure that their life becomes easier. We can automate as much as possible their workflows. Okay? So understand the business, their processes, rules, and the requirements. What do they need actually? What are their requirements? Represent IT to business users at all levels. So of course, because we are part of IT team as a business analyst, so we represent the entire IT team in the sense like software developers, the database admins, the QA analysts. We represent as a business analyst because we are the face of the IT team. We talk to the business users at all the levels. Okay, become a subject matter expert for the rest of the IT team. So, because IT knows how to write the code, they know how to configure the system, they know how to write the softwares. What they need is someone who can provide them the information about business needs. What are the business requirements? What are their workflows? How they do what they do, so that we can write a software to help them do their job, perform their job more easily. Excuse me. So if you become subject matter expert of the business processes, then that will be very helpful for the IT team. Okay. Why become a BA? So why not a developer? You can go and get a job, get a training as a developer, Java developer, .NET developer, SAP. But as I said, a good BA does not necessarily need to be technically strong. You do not need to have that programming logic or experience or architectural experience or any QA experience in order to become a BA. If you have some technical knowledge, that's great. That's always an incentive. That's always an added advantage. But if you don't, that's absolutely fine. Okay. BA jobs can usually not be outsourced of the organization because, as you can see, you have to act as a liaison, as a bridge between the business who are, let's say, you work for Bank of America, or you work for Johnson & Johnson, or you work for Bristol Myers Squibb, or any insurance company, or banking, or finance. Their business is here, headquartered here, right? So the business people, the business SMEs, the subject matter experts, the real users, you have to work with them. So if development or QA or some portion of the IT has been outsourced to some other company or even offshore, India, China, or wherever, your role becomes more important because the development team is off-site and business is working here. So you have to coordinate more and you have to understand the business logic, how the business works, how they do their day-to-day activities so that you can explain to your IT team more efficiently because they are remote, right? So that's why BA job has usually the longest tenure too. That's what the last pointer talks about. In any project, the role of a BA tends to have longest tenure as a BA is involved in almost each phase of the project. So right from the inception phase of the project, when we start, a BA is required to understand the requirements, to document them, to communicate to the rest of the IT team. And so once we are developing the actual code, even then a BA is required to pass on the information that they learned from the business. Once the software has been coded and the testing phase comes into the picture, we have to work with the testers too to make sure that they understand the requirements and they can test it. And eventually when we finally deploy and we go in production, we go live, this application that we have built over the year, it goes live. Even then we need to provide the support to the users so that now, okay, now the application is ready, the software is ready for you to use. Since it's a new application for the users, they might need some support, there can be some kind of glitches, something is not working as per the requirement or other stuff. So in that case also the business analyst is required. So you can see that even from the time when project starts, from the inception phase until the end of the project, a BA is required. A developer might come for coding and then probably after all the coding has been done and the system has been stabilized, the developer might on to something else. Same thing for QA. But business analysts, because they become subject matter expert of that application, they would be required even after deployed. I request everybody to put your phone on mute, please. Okay, I see a new name, Yakshita.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Good morning. This is Lalit, your trainer. We just started, so can we have some brief introduction about you?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Lalit. Myself, Yakshita Srivastav. Actually, I have a marketing background, and I'm just looking forward to make a career in BA. I think that's all I can say about myself for now.
Sure. Do you have any IT background or some kind of a course, diploma, some education, some experience?
Yeah, I mean, I did work with an IT background, but on a client relationship side, and my company was actually in partnership with IBM and HP in India. It was a TekTaurus Technologies, and before that, I'm bachelor's, and my diploma is in marketing PR, and then I joined this IT company. And all my life, in my 7 to 8 years of working in India, I always work in client relationship side in PR. And but I always been on the business side, like handling the client. It was like handling the client of Nestle India and Map&Co in India on the behalf of my company, but not on the technical side. Like what should I say? We were like a system integrators. So I've been calculating the how much time, how many engineers they need, and what the rate should be and everything. It was like a part of my job. And now when I came here in 2007, and I worked as a recruiter for a year, and then I left. So it's been a gap of say 4 years. I'm not working for 4 years now.
Okay. Okay. Good. Welcome to the class, and we were just going over some basics, some ground rules. I can go over with you later, but for now, what you can do is, if you have any questions, you can unmute your phone. Other than that, keep your phone mute so that we don't get any
I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm pretty new to this system. I didn't know that you just right there. I wasn't prepared at all. I'm so sorry for that.
No problem at all. It's with everybody actually, so it's for everybody, not for you. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay, great. So we were talking about what is the role of a BA and why you want to become a BA. Okay. Any question about the role so far? As I said, you are going to work as a liaison between the IT and the business. Understand the business logic, their business day-to-day workflows, their business rules, what are their requirements, what are their needs as far as the IT solutions are concerned. Not that, okay, someone says, business user says, we don't have a water cooler here. We're not for those personal needs or requirements. You understand, right? It's purely for the IT requirements. What we can do as IT to ease their life, their workflow, their day-to-day work, is there some software which is going obsolete, slow, it is not solving the purpose, it's very old, and we need to upgrade it, we need to make some improvements in that, or we just altogether we need to phase it out and make it completely retired and bring up a new solution. If that is the case, we will do all the analysis. What are the current situation of the software, how they're using it, and what are the new features that the business wants in the new application. So all those analysis work we will do as part of our DA job. And we will create the documentation for all the discussions we have with the business users. What are their business, what are the requirements? Okay. I'm still getting my echo, so someone is not on mute. If everybody can put their phone on mute, that would be great. I think this is okay. Okay, so role of the business analyst, why you want to become a business analyst, and what makes you a good business analyst. Of course, you must have or develop at least good communication skills, and that goes for all the professional jobs. You know, for if some company is hiring you as a contractor and they're hiring on a good hourly billing rate, they expect that you communicate well. You are able to express what you're trying to tell and understand what people are telling you. Documentation and interpersonal skills, very important, because business analysis is all about, not all, I take that back, it's not all about documentation, but one of the important piece of your work is to document the requirements. And of course, interpersonal skills, because you will be dealing with the IT team as well as the business team, and you will be collating all the information from both the sides. Someone has a question, providing the answers, making sure that you coordinate well between the various teams. So of course, interpersonal skills are very important. Analytical thinking, problem solving, negotiation, decision making, facilitation skills, these are all required for you so that you can facilitate the meetings. You can make sure that you have those decision-making skills. Analytical thinking, mindset should be there, okay? And of course, ability to ask questions. So when you are going to talk to your business users and taking the notes and understanding what they do on day-to-day basis, you should be able to ask questions, not afraid of, as I said, no question is stupid question, but make sure that you ask pertinent questions, right? So even if that means you're asking like same thing in 5 different ways, how you project yourself, making sure that you go to the core of the problem, not just the superficial statements of the business users, and making sure that you have the clear understanding of what the business users are saying. Okay, if you don't understand, ask them again. But ensure that you understand their business logic and their business requirements. Active listening is very, very important, because sometimes business users, they just say on the fly something, right? Because it's day-to-day work for them. Someone is working in the company since 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. I have met users, in the last company, she was working in the company for 38 years. So, I mean, I was not even born since when you're working here. So when they say something, they might just say on the fly and not putting more insistence, but you have to make sure that you capture each and every thing that they are telling you and capturing the information after validating. So validate your understanding, paraphrase, rephrase, and say the same thing in a different word, but make sure that you have validated your understanding. Okay. So all that is important to become a business analyst, because then you will go back to your IT team and explain all these things that you have learned from business users. On your project team, when you go as a business analyst, or for that matter as a QA too, you will meet a project manager, business analyst, of course, systems or solution architect, and we'll talk about these roles, what they do. Okay. And this is not in any hierarchy. No one reports to no one in this any order. Okay. Software developer or coder, enterprise architect, QA analyst, who are quality assurance analysts who actually do perform the testing of the software, database admin, and others. Now, this is not to say that this is completely exhaustive list. You will meet some other people too, and we will discuss, but definitely at the least you will meet these people on your team in any IT project. Okay. Then we'll talk about the software development life cycle, SDLC. There are many ways of doing a software project. Okay. If we have a project, we keep saying that, I'm working on a project, I'm looking for a project, my project is too complex and all those stuff, but a project will have an analysis phase where we as a business analyst will perform all the analysis work, the groundwork of understanding what exactly the project is all about, what are the business needs, why we are doing this, what we are doing, and document everything. Okay, that comes from the analysis phase. That's where the BAs, the PMs take the lead, and they do all the groundwork. Then is the design phase where the solution architects, they create the design, the high-level architecture, the blueprinting of the software. So now, after performing the analysis job, we know, okay, this is the problem, this is what are the requirements or the needs of the business. Based on those requirements, someone, and that someone is the solution architect or the development team or the technical team, they have to come up with some kind of a solution, right? So this is the problem, what is the solution that we're going to provide? What kind of a programming language we are going to use, what kind of a databases, what kind of environments that we are going to build the software in. So that kind of a high-level design document is created and design is created. That is the design phase. Okay. Once that high-level design is created and we know, okay, so these are the problems, this is the solution that we're going to provide, someone has to actually implement that. So the actual code is written. So the developers, the software developers, they write the code based on the requirements that you came up with in analysis phase and the design that was created in the design phase by the solution architect or tech lead. So then the implementation phase, the software developers, the coders, they write the code based on what we deliver in these two phases. Okay. Once the code is written and the software is ready, then someone has to test it, right? So the testing team comes into the picture, which is QA analysts, basically, primarily, who will take the specifications or the requirements which came out of this phase and the design document which came out of this phase, and then compare these two documents with the actual code, the software that came out of the implementation phase. So now we have the software, we have the specifications, someone has to go and test that these two are in sync. So the specification and the actual software, they are same. Whatever the requirements came from the business, now we have created the software as per the requirements. There's nothing which is missing from the requirements in the software, and there's nothing which is additional to what was not in the scope. Okay, that's what the testing people do. One by one, they take the requirement and they test. Okay, here's the software. The business said they want this. Okay, here's the software. Let me test whether it's available and it is working as per the requirements, business requirements or not. And once the testing phase is done, so just assume that everything came out well, nothing is broken, everything that was requested by the customer or the business, their requirements are met by this software, and testing team is satisfied. They say, okay, now everything is working as per the requirements. So then we go in deployment phase there, and before deployment we ask the users to test the software as well, because the users were the one who gave the requirements. This software is for them. This application, the solution is for the business users. So they must test before we actually go and deploy the system in the production. So the users have to perform the testing, and that's called user acceptance testing, UAT. The UAT is performed, and if users are satisfied and all their requirements are met with this software, then we are ready to go and deploy the software to the production. And that's when the actual deployment happens. We go live, a date is decided. Okay, on so and so date, this software will be deployed and it will go live and it will be released. All the users, or at least the pilot users, they will start using it. And if pilot group also is satisfied in everything, all the features are working, nothing is broken, then the full-fledged deployment happens, and all the business users who were supposed to use this application, they start using it, and that's the stabilization. And after that, just a core team, a mini team, is left behind because to provide the production support in case something is broken, something in the production, is not working fine. So a core team will remain to provide the support on this application. Rest all will move on to some other project. And this life cycle continues for next project. So you go on next project, for example, again same thing. You have analysis phase. You perform all the analysis of the business requirements, business needs, based on your requirements, based on your understanding what you got from the business users. The solution architects or tech leads will create the design, proposed design for the proposed solution, software, or the tool or other application that we're going to create. And based on these two deliverables, the requirement documents and the design documents, the developers, they write the actual code. Then testers come into the picture. They test the software against the specifications, and then same thing, UAT happens, and then deployment happens. So for each project, this life cycle goes on and on and on. Okay. So for this software development life cycle, or SDLC as it is called, what is your role and activities in each phase? Right? So as I said, in analysis phase, the requirements are elicited, documented, use cases are created, UML diagrams are created, and who does it? The business analyst takes the lead in the analysis phase. Basically, you are leading that team in that phase because you have to talk to the business users, understand what are the needs, what is happening right now, because the business is taking place right now. They are doing their business right now. So there has to be some as-is process, the right now, the current process. So we have to understand the as-is process, the current process, understand it, and document all the requirements for the future phase. So there's as-is, which is right now, current, and then the to-be phase. So where we want to go after this project is go live. So all these things you will do as a business analyst. You will work with the business users and understand, document all those discussions that happened. And if you don't understand use case UML diagrams, don't worry, because that's what we will learn in this class over the next 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, so all these are your, as a business analyst, you will do in the analysis phase. When the design phase comes, the software design is created, the high-level architecture is created, the blueprinting of the software, as they say, the basement, the foundation is laid. Okay, so that when the implementation phase comes, the developers can simply write the code based on they know exactly what kind of environment will be used, what is the best platform that will be used, the programming language that will be used. So all that a design document comes in the design phase, and the solution architect creates that, or the tech lead, there is the development manager, he creates with some input from BA, because BA knows by now what are the requirements of the business, what business needs, right? So if there's an old system that is working fine though, but it's very slow because it's old, okay? It just hangs up all the time. It doesn't provide all the features that the business wants. So the business process is pretty much the same. There's no change in the business process. How business works, there's no change. But just because the software is old, obsolete, it's giving a lot of problems, it hangs up or whatever, we are just bringing in the new technology. Okay, so the features, the business process flow is same, but we are bringing in a new software. So, okay, so solution architect knows, okay, so the speed is the problem, the performance is the problem, right? We don't need any new features, but it's just that the performance is not good. So that old software has to go out, and why not use the third generation software, which will be sleek and modern and provide all the speed and the performance that the users are looking for. So based on all those inputs that you got from business, the design team will create the architecture of the software with some input from you as a BA. And in implementation phase, the code is written, the actual software is written, and who performs that? Of course, developer, with the help of BA again, because BA, as a business analyst, you know what business wants. So you will be able to communicate to the developers, this screen should look like this. If I click on this, this is how the navigation flow should be. This should happen next. Because you have understood from the business users. So during the analysis phase of 2 or 3 or 4 months, by now you have understood how they are doing their job right now in the computer. That is giving problems, so that's why we want to move on to newer technology. So that's where your role will come into the picture in implementation phase, to make the developer understand what the business users are asking for. How they implement it, you don't write the code, you don't have to worry about that part. But what piece you have to communicate to the developers. And then the testing phase comes. Of course, test the application to meet the requirements. So we have to make sure that here's the requirement document and here's the software that has been created. So both are talking the same language. The requirements meet the software and software meets the requirements. And so in order to test that software too, BA will be involved with the QA team to make sure that they understand the requirements. Because understanding the requirements is important, right? You have written something, software is acting something else, so they should understand what the requirements are. Only then they can validate, okay, these two are in sync or not. So even then, you have to work with the QA team and help them understand the requirements, and then they will execute the test cases and they will perform the actual testing. Okay, and then deployment comes, which means we have tested everything, everything looks fine, the software solution is as per the requirements, and the business users have also tested the solution. They are satisfied, the UAT has been passed, and now we are ready to go in production. We are ready to push this software in production environment, and business users can start using it. At that time, we produce the release notes, which means what is new in the software, what all are the new features that the business users are going to get out of the solution, the software. And after getting UAT sign off, which means user acceptance testing has been performed, and we get the approval from the users or their representatives that, okay, this software looks good, everything is covered, all the features are working as per the requirement, we are ready to go live. And if some training is required to be given to the users, so be it, and some kind of production support, meaning on the floor actually the software will be used, so some kind of a support is required by the users. We provide that, and business analysts provide that post-production support. Okay, so this is your role. These are the activities that are performed, and these are the SDLC phases. In each phase, what happens and who does that. So as you can see that business analysis is involved pretty much in each phase of the project. Okay. Then we'll talk about, we keep saying project, as again, this phase of the project, and I'm doing this project, and I need a project. But how a project starts, how it is decided that a project, an IT project is needed, the software is needed. So what all, where all it starts. So the business users, the first point here it says, business presents a need or opportunity for a solution. So for example, need would be, let's say, they're using some software right now, and it's going obsolete. That software is no longer supported, or it's giving so many problems. It was developed like 10, 20, 15 years ago, and now it's all broken. It's not serving the purpose. It started giving more problems. So there's a need for us to create a new software. Or there's an opportunity, meaning the business is launching some new product, or they are launching a new line of business. And if we have that kind of software, we have more opportunity to serve our clients. So then business presents a need or an opportunity for a solution. A temporary project manager is assigned. So a project manager will look into the feasibility of doing that project. Okay, so there's a need or an opportunity, but is it worth doing that project? How much dollar amount it's going to cost? How many resources are required? Do we have the resources available? What are the timelines, if any? Because, as I said, a project must have a starting point and an ending point. A project must have a starting date and an ending date, and that's when it is a project. Otherwise, it's just an ongoing process. A project has to have an ending date. So we must have a timeline set up. So all these things will be analyzed, and an impact analysis will be performed by the temporary project manager when he or she is performing the feasibility. So we are doing the feasibility study whether, okay, business has presented a need or an opportunity, but can we do it? Does it make sense after doing all the cost-benefit analysis, which means this is the amount of dollars that probably we are going to spend, and these are the probable benefits. So cost versus benefit, and if the benefits are even $1 more than the cost that is going to be spent, then it makes sense to do this project. Okay, so PM gets the team, BA, QA, developers, etc., allocated from respective resource managers. So all the BAs have their managers. So there's someone BA manager who handles all the BAs in the company. There's a QA manager who has all the resources under him or her, who are the QA team. And then developers also, they have a manager, and the manager handles all the developers. So the PM gets some, tells all the respective resource managers that I may need these resources. Okay. The temporary BA assists the project manager in creating the cost-benefit analysis. As I said, this is the high-level scope of the project. These are the high-level requirements, and as per the guesstimate, this is the dollar amount that's going to be spent for getting the resources, the timeline, the scope. And so as per this estimate of the cost, these are the possible benefits that we're going to get from this project. Does it make sense for us to undergo this project? And if, as I said, cost is less and benefits are more, then of course the company, it would make sense to undergo that project and do that project. So if that has been approved, right, project manager would get the approval from the project sponsors with this business case that they have created. So here's a business case, here's what the business wanted, here's what I performed the cost-benefit analysis, and this is the guesstimate of the dollar amount that we're going to spend for this project, and these are the proposed benefits of doing this project. So the project sponsors, they have to approve the project, the dollar amount, and once the project is approved, then what we do is the project charter is created. We know that there are the team members that are required. If, for example, in the previous step, as I said, the PM gets this team from their resources and the project has been approved now. So if these resource managers say that, somehow I don't have the BA, for example, for this project, so then they will do the hiring. They will hire a contractor BA, for example, because this is going to be a 2 years project, right? And I don't have full-time BA here right now. And this is just 2 years project. So what they will do is probably they will hire a contractor BA who can come in, do the job, and once the project is done after 2 years, maybe he or she will go out of the project or the company. Or if there's some more projects, they will keep that, retain those resources. But that's where the contractor BA, the QA needs to come into the picture, where there is a project, but I as a BA resource manager don't have a full-time BA, or I need someone to come in for a short period of time, like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, come here, perform the, do the work on the project. Once the project is done, then the contractors can easily go out of the project. Okay, so if those BAs or QAs or developers are not available as full-time, they might hire full-time, they might hire the contractors to fill these jobs in this project. So once BA or the PM has all the project charters, project plans, which has all the timelines, what is the high-level scope of this project, what we are going to do for this project, and we have the full team developed. After we have the approval, the dollar amount has been approved and the project is sanctioned. So we have the full team, and project manager gets the approval from the project sponsors. And once we have the green light, green signal from business, and the sponsor has given the dollar amount, a project kickoff meeting happens wherein the PM, the project manager, will introduce everybody to everybody who is who. So we have he or she is the BA on this project, this is QA, this is developer, database admin, solution architect, or development lead. And once we have that kickoff meeting, and then the usual SDLC life cycle, analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment happens. So in the analysis phase, if it is decided, okay, so let's say if it is a 1-year project, okay, starting, just to keep the math simple, January to January. We are starting the project in January, and we have to deliver this project in January. We have the project approved, a kickoff meeting happens, and assume that we have all the team members available for this project. So January to March is the analysis phase. So the BA will perform all the analysis work. Based on the scope of this project, they will talk to the business users, understand those high-level requirements, break it down to the further details, as in what they need, what kind of a screen workflow, what are the workflows that are needed to be understood, how they work in their day-to-day life. All those things will be done in analysis phase. So let's say January to March is the analysis phase. So BA will take the lead and they will talk to the business users, understand everything. Then out of this analysis phase, the business requirement document will come out. That is the output of this analysis phase. So BRD, which is business requirement document, also known as functional requirement document or software requirement specification. We'll talk in detail about it, don't worry. So business requirement document is created, the use cases are created, the UML diagrams are created, the requirement traceability matrix are created. So there's all the deliverables that BA has to create, and we will talk in much greater details as in how you will create these documents. Okay, and we will also talk about what are the best practices to create those documentation. You will also see the templates of those documents, how you will create those documents. You will actually get them so that you can have a touch and feel of how the documents are created. It's not just that, theoretical knowledge that I tell you, okay, this is BRD and this is this and this is that. You will actually see the real life documents and you will keep them. That's for you. So that you understand how those documents are created out of analysis phase. And we will also do a mini project in the classroom. So what that means is we will be doing a real life kind of a role play kind of a thing. So you act as a BA, you ask the questions to me as a business sponsor or a business SME, and you take the notes and you guys will create the deliverables like business requirement document. All your deliverables that you are supposed to deliver at the project, you will be creating as part of the assignment. Okay, so I wanted to know how many of you guys can come in the classroom in case you guys do come in the, attend the class. So are you guys based in New Jersey, or any of you is out of state but would like to come inside the classroom?
Yeah, I can come in the classroom. That's not a problem for me. Just I have some previous commitment. That's why I had to miss today's class.
Okay. Is that Yakshita?
Yes, this is Yakshita. Sorry. Again.
Okay, great. Yeah, no problem. So, how about Pallavi? Can you come in the classroom, or you will always be remote?
This week, probably tomorrow also, I can't come to the classroom. From next week onward, I'm going to come to the classroom.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, I cannot come to the classroom because I'm living in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, that's fine. It's just that, if you're in the classroom and we are doing some kind of a mini project or a mock project, it makes easier to communicate, but that's fine. Q, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, how about
Yes,
you? Will you be remote?
I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida.
Okay.
So if it's really important, I need to go in there. I can schedule.
No, don't worry. I was just asking who is going to come in the classroom. No, don't book a flight from Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not yet, though.
Classes in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, we are in New Jersey.
Okay. If I have to, I can fly there.
No, don't worry about it. I was just asking. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So Q is in Florida and Prajakta is in St. Louis. Okay. Sindhuja, how about you? Where are you located?
Lalit, I'm actually in Boston, but I can make it from tomorrow.
Oh, you will be traveling to New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, and Yakshita said she will be joining in the classroom. Okay, great. Just wanted to understand your demographics, where you are, so that we know better. Okay. So, anything that you didn't understand so far. I have one more slide on this, and then we'll just take a little break. I will keep the floor open if you have something that completely didn't make any sense and you're like, what the hell this guy is talking about? I don't understand him. So just to go over this once again. Business presents a need, so they say, okay, this software is crap, this is obsolete technology, this is so slow, this doesn't serve our purpose, we have new business process flows. Or they have an opportunity where they are launching a new product or they are launching a new line of business, and they say, if we have this software, we will be able to capture more market, we will have more business. So we want another software, okay? And then a temporary project manager is assigned. He or she, the temporary project manager, has to perform some feasibility study to make sure that what is the high-level scope, what the business is trying to achieve, and what are the costs associated with this potential project. So, okay, I see that there's a software that is needed to serve the purpose of the business. To create this software, we will have to have these many BAs, 3 or 4 or 5 BAs, QAs, developers, database admins, da-da-da-da-da. So these are going to be the costs associated with the resources, or for buying the licenses for that, the software, or if it is a tailor-made software we are creating from the scratch, then we need so many specialists. These are timelines. So for this next 1 year, I need so many resources, da-da-da-da-da. So based on those estimates, the PM comes up with some kind of a cost-benefit analysis. BA assists them, and then if the project is approved, the long and short of it is that if the business sees that so many dollar amounts are going to be spent over the next 1 year or 2 years, and on the other side, these many benefits we're going to achieve if we do this project. And if the benefits are more than the cost, then it makes sense for the business to approve and go ahead for that project. Sometimes cost doesn't matter. If it is a compliance-related software, the regulators of that company, of that industry, right? So finance industry has their own regulators, regulatory bodies. Pharma industry have their own regulatory bodies. Healthcare have their own regulatory. So if some regulation came from the government or regulatory authorities that you must comply with these instructions, you must comply with these software standards, and we have to do that. Otherwise, we might lose our license to do the business. In that case, there's no option. Like, no matter how much cost, we have to do it. Otherwise, there will be loss on our company. So in that case, cost-benefit analysis doesn't make any sense. We have to do this project, and then the project manager gathers the team. We have the timeline set. Okay, this is the start date of the project. That is the end date of the project, and within this time frame, we have to deliver this project. And all the cost, timelines, resource management, everything is done by the project manager. BA doesn't come into the picture, or QA doesn't come into the picture. BA has a role of understanding the business needs, what they need, and they are talking in scope. Whatever was the original scope that was created by the project manager, we have to ensure that the software requirements that we are talking with the business, they are within the scope. Because if they are talking something which is out of scope, and we start talking about those requirements, it will become a never-ending story. The project is never going to finish, and that is the reason of the scope creep. Mostly the project, when they fail, 99%, I shouldn't say 99, but 70 to 80% reason of failing a project is the scope creep. Because when the business people get to know that, okay, a project has been approved and we are getting a new application, they want to get done everything from the software. Everybody wants automated work. No one wants to do anything manually, right? So they will say, okay, we want this, we want that. That's when the BA's role comes into the picture. And as a BA, you have to ensure that we are talking to the business people, which is in scope, which is the scope document, scope or vision document here, where we have the high-level scope of this project, what all they're going to automate. Is it just the finance department? Is it just within finance what all activities you're going to automate? So we have to make sure that we always refer back to the scope document and ensure everything is within the scope that we are discussing, the business requirements. Okay? And as I said, the project team is created, the budget, the resources, the time estimates are created, and we know that when we have to finish this project with these given resources and with these given budget. So the normal SDLC takes place once the team is set up, a kickoff meeting has happened, everybody knows who is who in the project, and then the same life cycle starts. Analysis phase, BA takes the lead, talks to the business, understands the business requirements, documents them, provides the walkthrough to the stakeholders who are the IT team as well as the business SMEs, takes the approval. Once the requirements are approved, the design phase comes, the implementation phase comes, the testing phase comes, and the deployment, final deployment happens. Before final deployment, we must ensure that we have performed the UAT, which is user acceptance testing of the software. So that was when you were part of the inception phase. You were part of the team even when the project was not started. You would know the scope, you will be well versed because you were part of that team. But what if you join a project midway? If there was a BA who was part of the inception phase, but he or she left because he won the lottery and say, okay, bye, I'm going, I don't need to work as a BA, you know, or whatever. So you join the project as in the midway. So what you will do is you will understand the project scope, which was created by in the inception phase or in the feasibility phase. So high level scope, understand what you're doing. Very important. Okay, very important to understand what exactly the business wants to achieve from this project. The business requirement document, BRD, as I said, BRD, FRD, which is functional requirement document, FRS, which is functional requirement specification, BRS, which is business requirement specification, SRS, which is software requirement specification. Don't worry about the terms. We will go in detail. I'm just telling you, don't get confused. These are all one and the same thing, which talks about the business requirements basically. So business requirement specification, software requirement specification, functional requirement specification, all one thing. Okay, we'll talk in detail. I know it's a lot of information that's coming in the first hour, but I just want to, I'm trying to give you an overall picture of what you're doing there. Okay. Understand as is system. As I said, I don't see any possibility where you are going to a company and they do not have an existing software that they're using. There has to be something, right? They must be doing something in old software. They might be using 3 or 4 or 5 different applications to perform one workflow. They might be doing something manually, partially manual, partially automated, but there has to be something, the current process will be there, right? Unless it's a completely new line of business or some completely new product that they're launching. So if they are doing the business, there has to be some current process. So understand the as-is process. What is being done by the current software? What are the processes or workflows that the business performs manually? What are the things that they do in conjunction with manual as well as the application? There can be multiple applications that they use. Okay, they go in this software, and then once so-and-so things are done, they have to go to another application. So what are all the process flows that they are doing? Understand the current process. And that you will do by talking to the business users. Shadow them. Sit with them and understand how they are doing the current process. Read the existing documentation if available. So if there's any existing documentation which is available, rather than always asking questions to the business users, you can always refer to the existing documentation which are available and do your groundwork yourself so that you will understand, you will ask more informed questions. Okay? And mostly companies, they have their assets, they have their documents, documentation about the current process flows, how they do the business, what is step A, B, C, everything is logically documented. So you can go through them and understand and then ask follow-up questions if any. Okay, and also good idea to play around with the existing system. So if they are using something, you put your hands on them so that you understand how the current system is behaving, so that you can understand, okay, this is the starting point for me. I know how the current system is working, and then you will be in a better position to ask questions as in what the business users want next and what are the problems, how they are, why they don't like the current system, or what are the actually bottlenecks that they are facing with the current system. So very, very important to play around with the existing system to understand what they're doing, how they're doing. Okay, and we will go in much details about all that have been discussed so far. This was just to give you the outline of the complete role of a BA and to some extent QA too. Understand what they do on a day-to-day basis, how a project starts, what is a scope document, what is a cost-benefit analysis, who performs them, how the analysis phase kicks off, and just bare basics. Okay, we will go into detail to understand what BA does in analysis phase, and we will be creating and looking at the documentation that is created. The real-life documents will be created and given to you. You can go over them, and after that, we will be creating our own mini project so that you understand. Okay, this is the example of my real-life project. This is how this was done. This is how I did after performing the discussion within the team, and this is how I created these documents. And that's when you will do in the next couple of weeks. Okay. What happens in design phase? What happens in implementation? What is testing? And testing also we will be doing much in detail because that's part of our training, which is last 2 weeks we will be learning about the QA testing. So what are their deliverables? What do they create? What do they write? What do they do in their day-to-day job? QA testers. We will learn in the last 2 weeks about testing in detail. Okay. And first 3 weeks we will be talking about the BA role. What they do, what they create, what are the various communication channels that you can adopt to meet with your business users, to understand their needs, how do you document those requirements, all the formats, templates I will provide to you, and we will look at the real life examples. We will create our own documents, and those will be your assignments, and we will be discussing them in the classroom as well. But that's a long-term plan, okay? That's for the next 4 or 5 weeks that I'm talking about. Every week there will be something new that we'll be discussing. Every week we'll be learning something new, the UML diagrams, how to create the diagrams, how to use Visio, and all that stuff. But what are the immediate questions that you don't understand? Like something that doesn't make any sense to you. I just want to take a pause after this slide, and anything that doesn't make sense to you, or some questions or comments or observation, or some thought, this doesn't sound like good to me. This is completely crap. I don't understand why we are doing this. Some question like that. Anybody on the phone?
Yeah, hi Lalit, Yakshita this side. I have a quick question. It just you said that the BA and the program manager creating cost analysis. So that budgeting is also the part of the role of BA? I mean, because I think the cost and the budget is given by the client, and
Good.
or
Good question.
is it gonna be the part of the negotiations? How it's gonna work with the role of BA?
Very good question. So DA doesn't create cost benefit analysis. That's done by the project manager. As I said, DA assists PM in creating CBA, which is cost benefit analysis, might help him or her, but primarily the project manager will be creating the cost benefit analysis because they are trained in budgeting, they are trained in guesstimating that how many resources we require for this type of a scope, and those resources, how much they're going to cost, timeline, all those stuff. So basically, project manager's job is primarily to track the cost, the resources, and the timelines. They are the people who are trained and they manage the cost benefit analysis. And if we are going over the budget or for some reason resources are not there and we're not going to meet the timelines, these are all the responsibilities of the project manager, not the business analyst.
Okay. And so do you think that, like you said, that the BA is like the link between the client and the project? So does it goes like this, that the project manager gonna give the budget and the cost analysis to BA, and BA gonna pass it on to the client, and the negotiation will go between the BA and the client? I mean, of course, the client definitely try to get the budget low, and you know what I mean to say.
I understand, but no, BA has nothing. IT BA has nothing to do with the cost or the prototyping or document. To some extent, yes, because if you don't deliver as a business analyst, you don't deliver the requirement document, then the next team is going to be waiting for those documents. So of course, everybody has to deliver in time, but ultimately, the responsible for a person for managing time, cost, budget, resources is the project manager. BA's role, IT BA role is to understand the requirements, deliver that document which talks about the business requirement, functional requirement, use cases, UML diagrams, and other deliverables that we'll talk in detail in the next few sessions. So even Parveen was asking me right in the beginning that is the BA going to be a kind of a running parallelly with project manager, and I was telling her that BA has a specific roles and responsibilities. They do not go into these are kind of admin works, like managing the resources, managing the budget, managing the timeline. Everything like this is done by the project manager, whereas BA has a specific role of talking to the business, taking the business requirements, converting them into functional requirements, and making sure that these are communicated to the development team and they are coding the software as per the business requirements.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else has a question about the role or how a project goes on and what are the various phases?
Actually, my second question would be suggesting to the right technology could be the part of the role. But I think like you said that the PM is going to do all the work. So I think suggesting the right technology would not be the part of the BA role, right?
Okay, so that's another good question. Suggesting or providing the input, it does ultimately become the role of the team. You are in a way right that each team member, the solution architect, the BAs, but BAs as a seasoned BA, as a contract BA at the level that you will be applying the job at this point after this training is done. They're not looking for someone who can provide suggestions, okay, do this and bring in this software. Even though as a business analyst, when you are, someone is in the company since 10, 15 years, all right? At that time, when they are at enterprise level, they understand these all technologies we have tried in the past. This did not work in this scenario. That does work in this scenario. In that stage, if you're a seasoned BA, yes, your input will be required to provide solutions, suggest solutions. But at this point, as an entry-level business analyst, you will be doing this groundwork as in understanding business needs, documenting them, communicating to the development team, and making sure that the software that is being created is as per the business requirement.
Yeah, yes, I understand, because we've been, keep telling that the BA is not, it's not one of the requirements that you have to be technically strong and everything. So that's why
Right.
Okay. Actually, I was reading that it's not like the link between the client and the company. It's like, I think BA role somehow is related to correct the system. If he or she feels that maybe the technology or something is not going right with the company and they are failing again and again, so BA can step up and try to change the system. That's what I read online. It's not my opinion.
That is correct to some extent, because as I said, that will be done when you are a seasoned business analyst in the company since a long time, and you know that these are the things that we have tried in the past. This technology did not work, or this we have tried in the past, and as a full-timer, seasoned business analyst, lead business analyst, the team would be looking at you to provide your input. But if at this point you are joining the project as a contractor, why they need a BA is because a project has been approved. Okay, they know which way they are going. They have decided that, okay, so and so project has been approved and we need to do this project. There's no yes or no, because they have done the feasibility study, they know which way they are going, and they need someone to come and document the requirements. So that's where an entry-level contract BA would go and perform the documentation of the project, convey the information from business to the development team. But I'm not saying you're wrong. You are absolutely right. That role becomes the role of advisor or someone who can provide the input if you are a seasoned BA in this company and you have seen what all has been tried and tested and what worked, what did not.
It depends on seniority, I guess. As senior BA you have more authority to...
Right, exactly. That is absolutely right.
I have a question. Like when the company looks for a BA, they'll look for the experience, right? Or how the entry level, how they rely.
Right. So when you are going for contract BA role, right? So that is what the resume thing comes into the picture. When you create the resume, then it depends on the maturity and the background that you're coming from. Then we have to show some kind of a BA experience. So that's what happens when the training is done. You know your deliverables. You have been trained on what you need to deliver, how you need to deliver, and you see the real life documents, and we do the mini project in the classroom. After that, you have to create the resume part, right? So then we have to show some kind of experience. Without that, it's not that you say that I'm a fresher, so 3 or 4 or 5 years experience you will have to show.
Okay.
That's what we can work on that after the training is done. So that's after the training is done, right? Okay.
And the full form of BRD is Business Requirement Document. It just okay, thank you.
You're right, because I think you joined a little late in the class. So yeah, you're right. BRD is Business Requirement Document, and I was saying that all these terms, BRD, BRS, FRS, FRD, SRS, all these are same thing, which means that as a BA you document the business requirement document, business requirements and functional requirements and software requirements.
Okay. Okay, thanks for that.
Sure, and we'll go in because these are your main deliverables. So we will talk in much detail of like how we create these documents and what they look like, and what we must include in those documents, what is the format, the guidelines, and we'll talk in detail about that.
Okay.
So anything that doesn't make sense, I will go over. Oh, I see someone new, Dimple. Dimple, did you just join?
Yes. Hi, Lalit. It's Dimple. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I joined in late, so I'm just trying to catch up on all the terms and everything. So I was just wondering if you could email this PowerPoint presentation to me later on once we're done so I can just read it and go over it.
Yeah, everybody's going to get whatever we discuss in the classroom. So yeah, you will get these PowerPoint presentations or whatever we discuss in the classroom. But I'm not sure when you join. So
I joined around 10:30. I missed a good hour and a half of your starting.
okay, so no problem. But do you have any questions so far on?
Not right now. I'm just trying to catch up and just listen to you guys.
Okay, maybe we can catch up later when you have time. I'll ask, or you can contact Neela to set up one extra hour. Then we can go over if you need any information. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Sure. By the way, where are you located, Dimple? And like, if you can just introduce yourself to the class, everybody.
Oh, hi. This is Dimple. I am in New Jersey, down south, and I'm just trying to get myself into the business analyst position and to look into what's out there for me. I have an IT background, but just getting back in.
Sure. So when you say IT background, what did you do?
I've done Oracle, SQL, HTML, so I've done programming part, but I don't think I want to get back into programming. So someone advised that business analyst QA does not involve coding or programming, and that's why I wanted to look into that before I actually get into it, basically. So I just want to see if it's something I would like to go ahead with.
Mm-hmm, sure. So for how long did you work as a programmer or a coder?
This was before the kids, so it's been a while that I've lost touch with the IT.
Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome to the class. And as I said, you will get all these PowerPoint presentations and whatever we do in the classroom. If you don't understand anything, feel free to ask Neela to have another extra hour, and I would be happy to go over with you again.
Great. I appreciate it, Lola. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So after Dimple, Natalie, I just forgot about you. How can I forget about Natalie? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Lily. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, just refreshing everything coming back. No,
Sure.
not question. Everything's crystal clear right now.
Okay, good. Okay. Pallavi.
Yeah, Lalit. Everything is clear as of now.
Okay. Good. Prajakta.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I understood very well. Thank you so much.
Sure. Q.
Yes, sir. Everything goes good.
Okay.
Everything goes good.
Sindhija.
All good, Lalit.
Okay. And Yakshita. I assume silence is golden.
Sorry, my phone wasn't mute. It is actually, I asked my queries and you solved it. Thanks, Lalit. I'm all good.
Sure. Good. And Praveen. Okay. So what we will do is, at this point, we'll take a quick break. I think you guys need a break. I can see for Praveen that she needs a break because I can see her in the classroom. So we'll take a break of 10 minutes, and then we come back. We will talk about what are the various methodologies of doing this project. So we talked about what is your role in the project, what are the various phases of a project, the analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment. But are there various ways of doing a project? What are those methodologies? We'll talk about them in detail, and then we'll talk about what are the various channels through which you can contact your business users, what are the best practices, what are the pros and cons of those channels, and in what scenario you should adopt what. And then we'll talk about the real BRD document, that is your deliverable as a BA, which comes out of the analysis phase. So there's a lot of things to do. I will try to keep it's a little simple today for the first day because I don't want to have a lot of download on the very first day. And then tomorrow we are meeting again. And then we'll talk about it tomorrow, whether it's too much and you have a lot of things to do next week. And usually what people want is they want 1 week break to absorb everything that they have understood. So if it's a lot of things that we cover today and tomorrow, then we'll take a break next week so that you can go over the documentation that has been provided to you that we have discussed. If there's something that is given to you as assignment, you will have plenty of time to do next weekend. So we'll take a break and then we'll meet next week. Okay? So let's take a break. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just want to know that for how long this class will run?
Today or in a whole?
Today.
Today. Okay, so we will see like how it goes. As I said, I would like to keep it a little light today. I don't want to give a lot of download for the very first day, and because so many things are, everything is new. Okay, so we will try to keep it short, like maybe 1:30, and then once we are back next week or next week, we'll cover that 1 hour. So that way, I want to make sure that whatever has been told in the classroom is not just overflowing or not overwhelming. So we will manage that way. So we'll keep it short today, like until 1, and then we will cover this 1 hour sometime next week or in the later one. So let's keep it till 1 today, and so that you understand what has been told here. And tomorrow again we are meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Any questions? You can stop me. Anybody? Most of the people are online, so I don't see you. I cannot understand from your body language because I don't see you. So you will have to raise your voice. You will have to unmute yourself and stop me. If anything you think that it's going to break the flow, then make a note of that question. Ask me in the chat, or ask me via email, or ask me when I'm going to take a break. All right. So it is right now 10:56 per my clock. How about we meet at 11:10? Okay. Great. We will meet at 11:10 again. No, I unmuted there so that if someone wants to listen to that. It's good. It depends on, sometimes what people do is that they have a lot of restrictions, like I only want to work within the Jersey. So for first project, you will have to be open. If in case you are open, then your chances are more. So your chances are 50 times more, right? But having said that, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, these are the hubs of IT jobs, right? All these pharma companies, insurance companies, financial companies, all are in the East Coast, in these 3 or 4 states. So at least if not all 50 states, I mean, I understand you have kids, everybody has their family commitments. So if you're at least open to New York, Connecticut, Philadelphia, New Jersey, there are plenty of jobs.
What do you do? You're a project manager? Or?
No, I worked as a project manager too, but I primarily work as lead BA, and on and off, as and when it requires, I do a job of Scrum Master too, and we will talk about it in details of those roles. Who's the Scrum Master? Sometimes, a couple of times there was no project manager, so I had to pitch in that role too. But I love my job as a business analyst, as a lead business analyst, and that's my bread and butter as a lead business analyst. I have worked as QA too, but and as and when we go into details of the training, you will see how these roles, go in hand. So as a BA, you will also have to perform some level of QA testing too. As a BA, you also work hand in hand with the project manager too. Okay, so that's when this overlapping happens, and that's why we discuss the BA role and as well as QA in the same training. I also provided some kind of introduction to project management, not in detail though, but since we go hand in hand, like we work so closely with PM, so I provide some kind of introduction. This kind of a package, usually other training institutes, they don't do. They just give you the deliverables of BA. Okay, this is your role. Go and do it. In 3 or 4 weeks, they will just tell you what a BA has to deliver, and this is what it is, and that's it. But I like to take it a little more further so that you have clear understanding. Sure.
But you work on a consulting basis.
Yes. Okay, so you're coming back at 11:10, right? Okay.
I know. Yeah. I'm happy to even check anyway. Yeah. I'll give you right now.
You told me about giving that post that you take to?
Yeah. Okay.
Or you will ID payment
Where should I?
cash or something. Yeah, you got a discount, so you're showing an account. She asked me to if it's okay, she's going to take time. If it's not,
Let me know if it's not, when I come tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow.
before we start something new. You want me to go over once again, just quickly, just to give you a run?
Yes.
Okay, so we started in the morning so that it'll be, refresher for those who join in late or something that just didn't make sense. I'll just go over quickly. So that's me. My name is Lalit Ahuja. I am certified business analysis professional, PMI ACV certified, CSM, which is certified Scrum Master, CSPO, which is certified Scrum Product Owner, and we will talk in detail about these certifications. You don't have to worry about this at this point. Okay. We spoke about the role of a BA. So what does a BA does? Basically, a liaison, bridge between the IT and the business to understand their processes, their business rules, their requirements, their workflows. Represent IT to the business users at all levels and vice versa as well. So you represent IT to the business folks, but at the same time, once you become the subject matter expert, shortly call it SMEs, some SMEs. So once you become the SME in the business process flows, you represent business as well to IT, because IT then looks at you for any kind of information that you can provide, how the IT side of it works and what they do, and become a subject matter expert for the rest of the IT team. So ultimately your goal is and should be to become the subject matter expert in what the business is all about, what they do, what are their lines of businesses, their core services, products, what are their workflows, day-to-day work that they do. So you have to become a subject matter expert finally in that domain. Why you want to become a BA? As we were talking about it, not much technical knowledge or experience is required. If you have it, great. There's always an incentive that's going to help you a long way. But if not, then don't worry that, okay, I don't know coding, I don't know how to perform a QA testing, I don't have any architectural experience. That all is not required. That's not mandatory. Of course, when you work in those IT teams, you will be living, breathing in that IT, environment. Then you will learn. You will have to, you will gradually, grasp all that. But initially at this level, it's okay if you don't have that kind of experience. BA jobs can usually not be outsourced. As I was saying, from start to begin, you have to work closely with the business users, and your business users are here. So then it doesn't make sense for a company to outsource that business analysis work to out of the company or more so offshore. Okay. A BA role tends to have longer tenure. As you can see by now, BA is involved in each and every phase of the project. What makes you a good BA? Must have or develop at least good communication, documentation skills, and interpersonal skills. And we spoke about it why these skills are required, so I will not go over that again. Analytical thinking, problem solving, negotiation, decision making, facilitation skills. All these things, if something doesn't make sense to you, you will know why, because we will learn about what all your role is all about. Ability to ask questions. More than ability, you should know when and where to ask what, right? So pertinent questions. There's no stupid question, but again, you can't be asking same question again and again and again, like 100 times. So asking the pertinent question at the right time. And as I was saying, there can be people who are working in the same process, same domain, same department, same unit since many, many, many years. So for them, it's usual because they are doing it every day. But you have to make sure that you question that process. Does this still make sense? Why are you doing it? What if we don't perform this particular action? What will happen? So asking the right type of questions and eliciting the requirements. Active listening, very, very important, and a crucial characteristic of a BA to understand, to listen and to make sense of it. And if you don't understand, then ask questions. Observational skills, because you will be observing someone else's workflow. That's not your work that you do, but you are observing someone else's work. So those observational skills are required. Validate the information that you're getting. So you are getting introduced to so many new workflows, a new work culture. Every company, every project is different. So validate whatever has been told to you. Make sure that you paraphrase, rephrase, and ensure that your understanding is clear. On your project, you will meet project manager, course business analyst, system solution architect, developers, the actual coders, the programmers, enterprise architect, QA analyst, database admins, and others. So as I was saying, this is just a framework of the team, not that every team will consist of just these people. This is not the exhaustive list, but at the minimum, at the least, you will see these people. That's the standard, but you might meet some other folks too. And these people can be multiple positions too, like there can be multiple BAs on one single project. There would be multiple QAs, developers, even project managers. There can be one or more, but at least one representative would be there. Okay, so then we spoke about the software development life cycle, also known as SDLC. Analysis phase, what you do in that, design phase, implementation, testing, deployment, what is your role in each phase. We discussed in the next slide. So under analysis phase, we do the requirements elicitation. We speak to the customer, to the subject matter experts. We understand their needs, their requirements, elicit them, ask questions, document them, provide a walkthrough of those documentation of the requirements to make sure that our understanding is clear. What we got on paper is exactly what the business was trying to say. So we provide the walkthrough of the requirements. If everything looks good, we take the approval on those requirements. And once the requirements are approved, we again provide the walkthrough to the IT team now so that they understand what is written on the document that we have created. Then the design phase comes and the blueprinting of the software happens. So the overall architecture, the high-level design is created by the solution architect. This is the role who does it, solution architect or tech lead or the lead developer, with input from BA as well, because BA has by now understanding of what the business is looking for. So once the design document is created, then implementation phase comes and the code is written, the actual software is written by the developers. And developer does that with the help of BA because BA knows the what part of it. How part, developer will take care. How they will write the code, you don't care, you don't worry, that's not in your scope. But what part, what we are building here, we have to ensure that the requirements that we wrote are conveyed and communicated to these guys, so they understand. It makes it easier for them to build that software. And once the software has been built, then the testers comes into the picture. Very crucial, very important piece of the software development life cycle. Someone has to make sure that what this guy did, what this guy did, what this guy did is all in sync. These guys spoke to these guys spoke to these guys, and everybody spoke to each other. And now the final product, the software is out, and these guys have to ensure they take the specifications that the BA wrote, they take the design document that the solution architect wrote, they take the actual software that the developer wrote, and compare everything here in sync. If there is something which is out of sync, which doesn't make sense, which is something is present here in the BRD but not being developed, there is a gap there. So the testers have to figure out where that requirement went. So the business had a requirement, but that was not built in the software. So that they have to point out, raise the red flag. Or conversely, there's something which is available in the software that has been created but was not in scope and that was not in the business requirement. That means if something was not there in the business requirement document, that means that was out of scope and that feature has been built. We don't want to give something which is out of scope as well, because that might break the actual functionality that was asked. Something actually that was asked by the business that might get broken. So that's what the QS role is, to make sure that everything that was in the business requirement document, meaning that was in scope, has been built in the software. That's what they are testing. And second level of testing is to make sure that, okay, everything is present, but is it working as per the design? Is it working as per the requirement? Is it working as per the logic? And then third level of testing also involves making sure that whatever is not in scope is not in the software. Nothing additional we are giving, because that is a perfect recipe of going in a scope creep. And as I was saying, that most of the projects, the reason for their failure is scope creep. When there's no one to ensure that we are not building which is not in scope. Going out of scope is very, very easy. Okay. And then finally, when we have done the testing, we have ensured that everything has been built, it is working as per the requirements. Then we ask the business users to perform UAT, which is user acceptance testing. They do the testing on their own, ensure that everything has been built as per their needs, and this software, this solution, this application, this tool serves their business purpose. And if, let's say, they found something, it can happen. It can also happen that with due diligence, we did the testing. However, users are users. They know better than any of us, because they are the business owners. They might find something, some faults during the UAT. If they find some defects during the UAT, that means the UAT has failed and we have to go back and fix those things, right? So if that means that deployment date or production date is going to be pushed, that is a hit on project manager, but at the end of the day, it's the team. So there's no finger pointing or like he said, she said kind of a thing. It's the team that was not able to deliver the project in time. But ultimately, it's the responsibility of the project manager to ensure that there is a appropriate time, there is enough amount of time in between UAT and the deployment date, so that if there are some issues that business users bring up during the UAT, we have enough, cache or bucket, bracket of time where we can fix those issues that business users brought in during the UAT. Okay. We spoke about it, how a project kicks off. I'll not go over it again. It's very simple. Business presents a need, or they have some opportunity that they are going into a new line of business, they are launching a new product, or the need is that the current software is not working properly, it's obsolete, it needs to be retired, that is going completely haywire, it's not serving the purpose, rather every day it's giving a lot of problems, and they want to get rid of the older technology and wants to bring in the third generation or fourth generation or whatever current generation software they want. The very sleek, web-enabled, fast, user-friendly, which serves all the purposes and which brings new features as well. So they want to move on to a updated technology. So that's where they have either need or an opportunity. And look, project manager who is temporarily assigned to conduct the feasibility, right? To conduct the feasibility, whether we should go about this project or not. They perform the cost-benefit analysis. A team is formed, and if the project is approved, then we have the full-fledged team. We have a kickoff meeting, and from there on, the regular SDLC takes place, which is this life cycle. If you join the project in the midway, you have to understand the project scope, what is the vision, where the company wants to be after this project is implemented, and make sure that you understand what part of it, what we are doing here, how we will perform the analysis, but what we are here for. So what is this project is all about? Understand the as-is system. As I said, there would be some kind of a system that they're using, no matter how obsolete, no matter how slow, no matter how legacy system it is, the mainframe system or 100-year-old system, but there would be some kind of a as-is process, the current process. They are doing the business right now. So is it manual? Is it automated, but older technology? Is it partial manual, partial automated? So the mixture of all these permutation and combination, understand how many applications they are using it, why they want to get rid of all those older applications, what is that they are expecting from the new application that we are going to build. There are a lot of documentation already available, so go over those documentation, existing documentation, and get yourself comfortable and fluent with the current process. Play around with the existing application, existing processes. There's always a test environment which is available for the existing application. So make sure that in the first few days, your laptop is set up. I mean, of course, your manager will take care. That's not your responsibility. But once you have your system set up, you have understood what are the applications they are using currently, get access to the testing environment, which what that means is that you're not playing around with the production system. We don't want to go in, what is the real data, because we might mess around with the real data. We can't do that. We should not do it, and we will not be authorized to do that. So make sure that you have a test environment application available where you can input any garbage data. You can play around. You can do whatever you want so that you know how the system behaves currently. Okay, so that's the best way of learning how they're doing their work today. Okay, so that's what we discussed so far, and then we want to go ahead and talk about the methodologies of doing the project. What are the various methods of performing those SDLCs? We said there are various phases. There is analysis phase, there is design phase, implementation, testing, deployment, but are there various ways of conducting those phases? And what are the pros and cons of adopting those various methodologies? We'll talk about that. Okay? But before we move ahead, any question from anyone? And I'm looking at the phone because I can see Parveen. I cannot see people on phone. Are they cooking? They're enjoying their Sunday shows, or Saturday's shows on TV, or they're playing some video game on their phone?
No way. We are very much in the class.
Okay, that's good to hear. And I'm really, really looking forward to meeting, if not all, but most of you, because I understand there are 2 or 3 people who are far off, but
what, Florida?
For sure, you'll see me tomorrow.
Okay, great. Yeah, so Praveen was saying something. Florida person.
Yeah, we don't want him to and Louis.
Yeah, right.
Once you get the job, then you can.
He will have to fly on to get the job then. That's good. Okay. Okay, so if there are no questions, I will continue, but please feel free to stop me if you have any question. And if I'm going too fast, something you don't understand, I want to make sure these basics are very important. Once you have these basics clear in your, the concepts are clear, then I won't say the next class will be very easy, but a little bit easier. But if you don't understand these concepts, then we won't, you will be struggling of, there's so many documentation, there's so many processes, there's so many new concepts, I'm getting confused, so we'll have to, compartmentalize these concepts so that everything falls in place. Okay? So, we said that there's a SDLC. There's something called Software Development Lifecycle, and I said I told to you that no matter what, for any project, we have to perform analysis, right? We have to understand what the business wants. What is stopping them? What is keeping, wanting them to move away from the current process, the as-is process, to a new software or a new solution or a new application? Why they want to move from the current state to the to-be state. So we have to perform analysis. We have to talk to them. We have to understand their problems, their needs. That's where we do the analysis. Design, implementation, testing, deployment. But I said that all these phases have to take place in order for us to have best practices of project management or delivering a solution. Now, there can be many ways of doing those things. There can be a systemic way where if the project is for 1 year, just to keep the math simple, right? Let's say the project is starting from January 2015, and we have a timeline of delivering this project on 31st of December. I'm just cooking it up and I'm just keeping it very simple. So that means that as a team we have decided that January and February and March are going to be analysis phase. The BA will take a lead, he or she will perform all the analysis work, talk to the business users, understand their needs, document them in a logical flow, in a manner which is understood to all the stakeholders of the team, get the sign-off, the approval from the business users, and once that documentation is approved, the analysis work is approved, and business says, okay, you guys understand what we need. The next phase starts from 1st of April, and April and May, let's say 2 months, are for design phase. Based on the documentation that you as a BA created, the design phase starts, and the solution architect or tech lead, they create the design document or the basement, the foundation of the building that we're going to create. So, January to March is analysis phase. Only when analysis phase is done, only when all the deliverables of analysis phase are duly approved and ready to be signed, handed off to the next phase, the next phase cannot start. The design phase will only start once all the deliverables, which is business requirement document, UML diagrams, use case, all that stuff has been documented, approved, and now we are, as a BA team, we are ready to hand it off to the next team, and the next team takes care of their deliverables, which is design phase. Once design phase deliverables are done, approved, and duly communicated to the team, and ready to be handed off to the next team, which is implementation, the development cannot start until the previous phase is complete, and so on and so forth. So basically that model is waterfall model. As you can see, the word itself, waterfall, means from one step to next step to next step to next step, the water is falling 1, 2, 3. So analysis, design, implementation, testing, and deployment. Very crucial thing to remember here in waterfall methodology is that the next phase cannot start until the previous phase has been conducted. All the deliverables are delivered. They are duly approved from whosoever they need to be approved. Once we have signed off on the requirement, only then the design phase will start. Once we have approved and signed off design document, only then the coding will start. Or once we have the complete coding done, only then the testing will initiate. Once the testing is done and everybody's happy, everything is working fine, only then we will start the deployment activities. So one phase at one time. Once that phase is complete, all the deliverables are delivered, only then the next phase starts. So for example, in waterfall methodology, the testers will come into the picture only towards like September or October if this is the one-year project, and it's starting in January, ending in January 2016. First 2 or 3 months, the team will decide what is the analysis phase. The BA will do all their analysis work. April, May, it's design phase, designers will work. June, July, August, the implementation, the coders, the programmer will write the code based on the previous deliverables that came out of the previous phases, which are duly approved, documented, and then they will write the code. And once the code is done and we have the software ready, then the testing phase will come, and then the next phase. So as the word itself, the methodology itself says waterfall, which means from one point to another, and then next, and then next, and then next. That is waterfall. We will talk about it much in detail, but this is again just to get you introduced to various methodologies. Okay. Then we have the Agile, which is a relatively new methodology, which is picking up very fast because of the reasons that we will discuss what Agile is all about. And that's where I said, when I say I have PMI ACP certified, which is PMI is Project Management Institute, and ACP is Agile Certified Practitioner. So Agile is another, another way of doing the project, which is relatively very new. Waterfall is tried and tested, old methodology, where we say more preference is given to the planning, documentation. The concept and the principle there is that if we have performed proper planning, right, then execution of those plans will be easier. But Agile principle says, yeah, we understand that project management is all about planning, but plans do change, right? So we should keep that scope, that we should be ready to embrace the change. There should not be any fast and hard rule that one project manager created a project plan and everybody in the team, that includes the business people, they have to stick to that plan. And we are planning what we are going to do in September, October, November, and we have to stick with that. What if something changes in between? Business changes their mind, some requirements are changed. There's some drastic change in the business, how business performs do their business. So are we saying that we are locked down to this plan that a project manager has created for the next 1 year or 2 years? So Agile, as a word itself indicates, it's like agility, the flexibility. So we keep a scope there for prioritization and reprioritization at a regular interval. And what I mean by that is that we perform the activities in sprints. We break down the project into small little sprints, and that sprint means a time duration of 2 to 4 weeks. We work in sprints of 2 to 3 or 4 weeks. That means sprint 1, we break down what we're going to do in this sprint. Sprint 2, what we're going to do in sprint 2. And each sprint, we will prioritize the work after consulting the business stakeholders, business representatives. So what that does is...
That means...
Yeah, go ahead. No,
like
sure.
You divide the priorities.
Right. Exactly. You are keeping it open. What we are going to do in the next sprint, we will discuss when we reach there. We are not planning everything up front. Okay, so we divide the functionalities of the project into small little user stories, and we will talk about that in much detail, what a user story is all about. But we have, and the time is same. Even in waterfall, let's say we have a 1-year timeline to deliver this project. We have divided that into phases, and we are saying analysis phase first, BA has to do the analysis work, only once the BA is done with the analysis and the requirements are documented and they are approved and they are ready to be handed off to the design team, only then the design phase will start, which is, as I said, April and May. When April and May comes, the design team creates the design document based on the requirements, the document that you handed off to that team. You work with them and they create their deliverables and they get it approved. And then when they are ready with the approved deliverables, the documents that they created, the design document, now we have the business requirement document that came out of the analysis phase. Now we have the design document that came out of the design phase. Based out of these documentation, now the third phase starts, which is implementation. Design cannot start. The code cannot start until these two things are handed out to them. Okay. Unlike in Agile world, welcome to my Agile world, which says no such hard and fast planning. Okay. Let's be a little flexible. Let's be a little agile. Because remember, at the end of the day, all this documentation that we're going to create, right? Business users who are spending a lot of dollar amount, they don't care if your documents are so beautiful or they are detail oriented and you created all the business requirements. But until July or August, they don't see any activity, they don't see any code, they don't see any software, they don't see anything moving. It's all planning happening. So by the time, probably, their priorities change. The way they do business changes. They are into new business. Or some government regulations, they change how they perform the business. By the time you were doing so much of planning, and by the time you were ready to write the code and show them what you have built, they say, oh, this is all crap, we don't even need this. So we have to keep pace with them. We have to involve them right from the day one. That's the concept of Agile. First of all, break down the functionality, break down the project in small little sprints. So we are building it iteratively. That's important. That build and work and do the project iteratively. Small little building blocks. So instead of waterfall where we build the complete castle, the whole fort we are building, and then we are going to the business users towards the end of the year and we are saying, okay, this is what we have built, and now you test it, and they say, oh, no, this is not what I said. This is not what I meant. Your BA or someone on your team got it wrong. This is completely a piece of crap. This doesn't solve a purpose. So that by that time, we are in October or November. That means we lost almost a year. We lost almost the budget amount that we were approved with. We have lost all the resource time. And are we saying that by the time we have delivered nothing? So to mitigate that, to handle that kind of a situation, and that used to happen a lot in waterfall, that we are doing the analysis work in January, February, we took the requirements, we went back, business went to their home, they are sitting in their pretty cubes, we are sitting in our pretty cubes, the developer is writing the code, and we are doing the testing. By the time it's September, October, or whatever, okay, almost 6, 7, 8, 9 months are gone. And now we're going back to the customer or the business users and we are saying, here's the software based on our understanding. Go and test it. And what if? What if the user says, this is not what I meant? That means all those resources, money, time has gone down the drain. To mitigate that, Agile comes into the picture. I'm not saying waterfall is bad and Agile is good. They are two different models, two different methodologies. It will depend on what are the priorities of the company. It's a collective decision that the higher management takes which methodology we are going to adopt, either waterfall or Agile. And there are others too, but if you understand these two methodologies, the rest of them will fall in either of these two groups. So let's focus on waterfall versus agile and how they are different, how your role as a BA QA differs, how your deliverables will be different in two different methodologies, and what are the basic differences and pros and cons. So we'll talk about it in detail now. Okay? But at a very high level, the difference is in waterfall, each phase has its own time limits, timelines, and within those timelines, the respective leaders of that phase, they have to deliver what they are supposed to deliver. That has to be approved by the respective stakeholders, whosoever is responsible for approving those deliverables documents. And the next phase will start only when the previous phase has been done and successfully delivered their approved deliverables. Whereas in Agile, we do things parallelly. Even though there's a madness, there's a chaos, but there's a method to the madness. Okay? So what we did was, here we have waterfall, one phase, second phase, then third phase, then fourth phase, and fifth phase. And requirements are locked down once we have the analysis phase nearing. Okay? We have to make sure as a BA that we have taken all the requirements, we have reviewed it with the stakeholders, we have provided the walkthrough of the requirements to all the stakeholders, and if everything looks good, we take the sign-off and approval on those requirements, and if those requirements are approved, those requirements are locked down, because then after that no change is accepted. Okay? And then when we are testing the software and we find out there are some discrepancies, or business comes back and says, oh, you know what, this is not what I meant, or I gave you the requirement and I approved it, that's correct, but now we have changed. You know, there's a change in the requirement. Or genuinely there's some change in the way the business performs their day-to-day functionality, so there's a genuine change. One is that there was a miscommunication. The business lead said something and business analyst understood something differently, and the developer understood something completely different, and QA testers, they tested it with some kind of an interpretation. So there was a communication gap between the teams. And another scenario is that genuinely the business comes back towards the development, after the development has happened and testing is happening, and they come back and they say, there's a change in the requirement because of so-and-so reason, or some regulation, some, you know, we got instruction from government that we have to comply with this, and so there's a change in the process. So what then? How do we take that change? A lot of time has been spent by that time. So the agile, what agile methodology tells us is, be ready for change. Divide the functionality in small little user stories, which is again, the high level scope of the project is divided into small little functionality. Take up each and every functionality or feature in each sprint, which is usually a month-long sprint. Not doing those phases anymore. Okay? We will take up those user stories. Let's say login functionality. First thing is login. We are going to talk about login functionality. We have to build that functionality. In sprint 1, we will take up that feature or functionality. We will analyze the requirements within that 1 month, one sprint. Okay, this sprint 1. We will take up one user story or the functionality or the feature. We will discuss about it, analyze it, build it, test it, demo it to the users, and show it to them, and take their acceptance. Once they accept that feature or functionality, only then we go to the next sprint. Same thing happens. we analyze, discuss, document, design, code, test it, everything in this within this time span, which is one sprint, which is usually 1 month, and demo it to them. And once they accept it, we go to the next sprint. So this way, what's happening is that we are dividing and conquering. We're not building a huge castle and then with the risk that business might say this is not what I wanted, and then bulldozing it again and rebuilding again and then showing it to them. Just imagine, you're there to buy a home, okay? In this case, you are the user, business user. So you are the consumer, right? So you want to buy a home and you tell your requirements, I want this, 3 bedrooms, basement, bath, this and that, everything. You give the specifications. The designers or the architectures, they say, okay, you go home, we will build it. And they take a year or 2 years. They took the requirements, the specifications from you, the high-level requirements. You want backyard, you want, porch, you want patio, you want this. But they built it, and once the entire finishing, everything has been done, then they call you and they show you, and they say, okay, this is what I have built it for you. Even though specifications that you gave, this building, this construction is as per that, but you had a minimal say in, you were not seeing as it was getting built, so there is a high chance, there's a high possibility you might like it, you might not like it, all right? And now imagine that your involvement is continuous throughout the execution of that plan or throughout the building, construction of that house, right? They build block by block, and they constantly show you. If one room is built, roofs are built, the windows are created, it's getting finished. They show you one room, and they demo it to you. They show it to you. You give your approval, or you say, okay, looks good. Then they build another. Then next thing. Then next thing. You are involved. You are seeing the baby grow. You're seeing how the development is happening. So in that case, there's a very less chance that at the end, towards the end of the execution, you say that this is not what I meant, or this is not what I need. Well, if you don't like it, or if you don't need this functionality, then what you were doing throughout this 1 year, because you were seeing how we were going, you were building it. So same way, coming back to the example of software development as well. If we keep the customers involved on day-to-day basis, we accept the fact that change is inevitable. Change might come. Either the customer is changing their mind, or it's genuine change, that change came because of some regulatory instructions, or business has decided to move on to some different workflows. We have to accept that change will come. So why don't we keep them involved on a day-to-day basis, break down the functionality, divide and conquer, and involve the customers on day-to-day basis, so that we build some small functionality, we show it to them, they give their sign-off, we move on to the next sprint. We build again, we show it to them, we get approval on the actual software. So the focus is on the actual end product rather than planning, writing beautiful documents, doing a lot of documentation. So removing the waste, just concentrating on the lean meat, the end product, building it in front of the customers, showing it to them. If they don't like something, it's easier for us to undo that change, or undo and go back and rewrite the code, because that was just this small little functionality. If they said in login, today they said we want the user to come in and enter their login ID, and we don't need password, that's okay, this is not that sensitive application. If there's no password, that's fine, and they click on continue, they should be able to see the home page. Tomorrow, they come and they change their mind and they say, you know what, we want a password too. So now it's easier for us to make that change, accept that change, because we did go too far, right? So if they say we want a password also, and we build the password, that functionality, that capability, and we show it to them. And towards the end of this week or early next week, second week, they say, you know what, there's a requirement for the password too. A strong password should be 8 characters, there should be 1 capital, there should be 1 number. So they're changing their mind, they're changing their requirement. We are not keeping them hostage to the requirements that they gave us in the month of January and February. We said, okay, thank you for your approval, you're locked down here, we will build the software now based on these requirements, and come December, we'll show you what we have built. In Agile, we are accepting that there will be changes. So embrace the change. Change is inevitable, especially in today's businesses where every month, every week, there's some changes happening. Based on the market, they react to the market and they say, okay, if let's say, for example, Bank of America is giving mobile app, why don't I also give a mobile app to the Chase users? Only then we will be able to retain our business. It's all about the dollar amount. It's all about the bottom line. So we have to retain our customers. We have to get more customers. In fact, if we can give some Bank of America customers, the more the merrier. So they react to the market, and we are serving to the business. So we have to ensure that we can't just keep them hostage. Okay, you gave us this requirement in January and February. We will build it no matter what. And then at the end of the day, when we are ready to deliver the software, business says, this is not what we want. This doesn't serve the purpose.
So what is the popular in the market now, Agile?
What is the popular? Okay, popular. As I said, I'm not saying waterfall is completely bad, because this is tried and tested. This is how the projects are, you know. I did my first half of my career, I did waterfall. I was not aware of Agile. Agile is still picking up, but it's picking up. There's the key word. There are so many, it's a win-win situation, right? We don't want to fail in our project. We want to serve the purpose of the business. We involve the business early in the game. We show them what we are building. They are completely focused and involved, and they're dedicated to this project. They come to our conference room every day, and we'll talk in detail how each project works. So they come to our project team, project room every day, and they are dedicated to this project. So it's equally their responsibility as well. There's no finger pointing at the end. Hey, I said this, and BA didn't get it, and BA says, oh, I wrote it like this, and I conveyed it to the developer, but they didn't understand, and tester saying, oh, I thought this is what the requirement says, so there was some misinterpretation of the requirement.
And the result is right away.
Right. Exactly. It's in front of everybody. There's a team to share the success and the failure. So no one can put a blame on Parveen saying, she wrote the wrong requirement, Parveen gave the wrong requirement to the developer, or Parveen saying, I said this, see, here's the document. See, here's the document. But what is this document going to do? Are you going to the code of law and say that I gave the right requirement, but the developer wrote it wrong? So all is he said, she said, finger pointing. At the end of the day, we failed to deliver. We were not able to give what customer wanted. So why don't we call the customer? Yes, ma'am.
It's simple. I have a question. So as first-time BAs, how do you decide which model you're using, waterfall or agile?
Very good question.
You're analyzing data that the client needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to design that. But as a BA, while you're analyzing the data, you're putting down their specifications. And before you start and pass on their requirements to the next phase, how do you decide, okay, let's pick the waterfall model or the agile?
Genuine question, good question. But the answer is BA doesn't decide which methodology we are going to take. Because it's a collective decision taken way before we execute the project. We as a team know that it's going to be agile model or waterfall model depending on the resources. It also depends, there are so many factors which are to be considered before the team decides which model we are going to do this project in. So for example, as I said, agile is not completely, but relatively fairly new methodology. So not all companies, not all project team members are educated on how agile works. This is not the all in all of agile that we have discussed so far. There's so much new things to be learned, and that we will go in detail. And that's where the factors will be clear, as in what are the deciding factors for the teams to go with either waterfall or agile method. Okay, so as I said, that even the business SMEs, they have to be dedicated and involved. Can they come to the project team every day and spend time in providing the feedback, the requirements, looking at the demos, telling you the suggestions, giving you the feedback, this looks good, this doesn't look good. So their involvement is continuously required throughout the execution of the project. Can the business spend that much of time? Can they dedicate those many resources from business side to the IT team? Can we have, can the company allow us to have less documentation and depend more on the verbal communication between the business and the IT team? Because few companies, remember, they have a lot of they are bound by auditors and legal entities that we must document each and everything. In those cases, agile doesn't permit a lot of, agile principle is less on planning, less on documentation, more on the actual results. So these things will clear what are the factors that makes, which is the better candidate for us to go with, which model we should go. So just to answer your question for now, the BA doesn't decide on his or her own. We have to make a decision as a team. A collective decision has to be made on various factors, and some of the factors are availability of the resources, availability of the knowledgeable resources on either side of the methodology, and we will discuss more in detail.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
BA can suggest, right?
Yes, BA can make suggestions, but again, not at the level that you're going, because when you will be hired, all these decisions, which way we are going, what is the methodology we are going to adopt, what are the software we are, like the technology we are going to adopt, all these decisions would have been made. And then there's a need for a contractor BA who needs to come in and do the analysis work. Okay, so it will be more clear to us when we go in details of what agile actually is and in what scenarios agile will be a better candidate for us to adopt as methodology. But I can say this, that BA doesn't decide on his or her own. It's a decision that is made by PMO, which is Project Management Organization Office, which decides way before the project execution starts, and there are various factors that have to be considered, and we'll talk about those factors. And by the end of those discussions, we'll come back and see if it is clear to you what are the deciding factors for adopting that particular methodology. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions so far? Agile, waterfall, something, because these are just the words for you guys right now, maybe. I'm assuming. If someone has exposure, that's good, but waterfall, agile, methodology are just the words so far for you. They don't mean anything because we have just started. We will go in detail and see how they are different. We will be able to differentiate between them.
Actually, I have one question. It just, do you think Agile could be more time-taking than the waterfall because we are keeping everyone in the loop?
So then it should take less, right? Because everybody's under the same roof. I'm just talking it loud. You tell me. If we have the business people, all the team members under the same conference room, and we have everybody who is needed to take the decision to say yes or no, yay or nay, and there are people who can make the decision then and there, then should it take less time or more time?
Actually, the way I see it is just because it's more chaotic, and there would be more discussions will be happen in the boardroom, and every team takes its own time. I think the client gonna discuss and may go back and discuss with its subordinates and whatever. So because I'm so new, it's just my way of seeing that the more people involved, the more chaos will happen, and that will take more time, like too much suggestion sometimes.
And you're right. And you're right. And that's why I said, the word I used was, there is a method to the madness. There is a madness, but still
yes,
to that.
I can sense it. And following to that question, it just, even in the waterfall, you just don't design the thing and go ahead and build it. We first design the, get it approved. So,
right.
What I mean to say is just, at the, like you said, at the end of the year, clients may like the product or may not like the product. But at least at the designing, and the first level only, at the designing part only, we can see the which direction we are going to, right? So we can make decisions, so we can make changes even after the designing the product.
You're right. No, you're right. Absolutely correct. But I will say this, that analysis phase, we are taking the requirement, and I said that we take the approval, we give them walkthrough of the requirements, we give them time to think over, and 2 or 3 months is a pretty good time to perform all the analysis, take the changes. There are so many change management that happens to the documents. So all this that we will learn in detail how the waterfall works. And then once the requirements are approved and they are signed, they're logged down, we have the design phase. And again, we discuss with the customer. I'm not saying that we go all the way down and I just gave you a hypothetical example.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that Agile is in a way better because we have broken down the functionality. The complete project has been broken down. And when we divide and conquer, we are focusing in this month, in this sprint, we are focusing on these 2 functionalities, which are login and the home page. Let's say, for example, just keep it very simple. Login and the home page. These are the 2 functionalities we are focusing in this sprint, which is January 1st to January 31st. Now, we have anybody in the project who has a say, who has a stake. They are in this room. We are not discussing anything extra. We are not going in sprint 2 or 3. The focus of this sprint is to get this damn 2 functionalities done. Whatever needs to be documented, let's document it. Whatever needs to be communicated, let's have a clear communication within that team room. Make the decisions. So when you say that business might go back, and that will happen, that for sure, I completely agree. But at the end of the day, they have to come up with a decision. And since they made a decision, they have to, there's no, nothing like saying, this is not what I mean, because they are seeing it, they made a decision, they say yay or nay, they said yes or no, and based on that, we build it. So there is a responsibility that they also share in what we are building.
Okay. So you mean to say Agile, maybe it sounds chaotic, but it's like a organized chaos.
Yeah, and when we discuss more, you will see what I mean.
Okay. Thank you.
But I agree. Sometimes it can be chaotic because everybody's in the same room.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant actually. Okay.
You're going right, but we will talk about, we'll come back to this point again, how chaotic it is, but there's a method to the chaos. Okay?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay? Sure. So far is it clear how sprints work, and we'll discuss who decides what to take up in which sprint, and there are various roles which are new in Agile, so we'll discuss about them too. But that's the major difference between waterfall and Agile. That in Agile, there's more agility, there's more flexibility. We are telling to our project teams that forget about those rigid rules that here's the project plan created by the project manager, and everybody is following that plan throughout the execution. Not to say that planning is bad, but all that we are saying in Agile is that keep that little scope for change, okay? And then we break down the whole project into small little user stories, which is nothing but the features and functionality which are going to be part of this project, which is in scope. And we deal in each sprint couple of features. And we discuss about that with the business SMEs. As a business analyst, we document whatever needs to be documented. We build it, we show it to the users. If they accept it, it looks good to them. We consider that user story as approved or accepted. We move on to sprint 2, we do the same thing. Sprint 3, we do the same thing. Sprint 4, we do the same thing. And so the involvement of the customer is constant, every day, day-to-day basis. So, what is driving in Agile? The business value. Whatever is valuable to the business, we are delivering that first. In waterfall, is the plan. It's plan-oriented. Again, I will say again and again and again, I am not saying planning is bad. No one is saying that waterfall is completely trash way of doing the project. It always fails. No, I'm not saying that. This is a tried and testing way of doing the project. And there were pros, there were cons. Agile has its own pros, its own cons. And we will see what suits best and how it is decided which way to go.
Lalit, one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to know, when you say it is a collective decision of the team, so can you tell me who are the people in the team? Like, how many
Sure.
people are together and what kind of profiles do they have?
So, PMO, Project Management Office, okay. All the managers, like BA managers also, QA managers, because they have to provide resources who are trained in Agile methodology.
Okay.
Even from the business sponsor side, because business sponsor has to let go his or her people, and those guys are committed to the project on day-to-day basis. They're no longer sitting in their white castles and saying, okay, go and do this. They have to come to the conference room of IT team. They, in a way, become part of IT team for this Agile project because they are providing the solution, not solutions, sorry, the requirements, what they need. The developer can walk up to the SME and ask questions. They show it to them. See, this is how I'm building it. How do you feel about it? So the business side has to make a decision whether they can spare their resources. So there are business sponsors, PMO, solution architects, all the resource managers. So it's a collective decision at the higher level, higher up that they make a decision whether Agile is perfect for us or we should go with waterfall.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Actually, I have a question. Do you think the methodology makes any difference on the cost of the project?
It can. It may, because not, as I said, not all companies are ready for Agile. As we will go deep into the discussion, we will see that co-location is one of the basic principles of Agile. What that means is all the team members, irrespective, they have cubes, they have offices, they have big offices.
Yeah.
All the member stakeholders have to be co-located, and what that means is there has to be a huge, big conference room built.
Yes, I understand that exactly.
Right? So
yes.
Those infrastructure or logistic arrangements have to be made.
Yeah.
The company mindset, the employee's mindset has to change. Because for me, when I was working, or for that matter, anyone, if someone's working in Waterfall, we have that luxury of sitting in my cube. I can browse my Facebook. I can eat my breakfast without thinking who is looking at me. But now think about it. It's one big room. Everybody's sitting as a family, one happy family.
Exactly.
Happy or not so happy is a different matter. But all co-located business users are with us every day. So the culture, the way we conduct and execute the project is different. Okay.
Basically,
so,
Waterfall sounds like more conservative approach to the project, and Agile is like a modern thing, and everybody is involved and with a part of the project since beginning. Okay.
That's
Thank you.
very well said. That is the way it is. Waterfall is conventional way of delivering the project, and Agile is like being open to change, changing the mindset of people, basically asking everybody to be productive each and every day. Not that, okay, I have 3 months of analysis phase, so even if 1 week I do some furlough and, I don't take it that seriously, I can cover it. Because in Waterfall, usually we have weekly status calls. So we can, unless it's a Friday, right? It's a Friday, and our project manager conducts a weekly status call. I can say okay, I did this, and I was waiting on this from someone, and so we can make up something. But in Agile, we have co-locations. We have attend some calls, and we'll talk about it, how it's executed in detail. So you will see that every hour is calculated. What I did today has to be reported to the team. What I did today, what I'm going to do tomorrow, all those stuff.
So everybody has to be on their toes, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So your flexibility is high because, as I said, the basic principle is to embrace change. We say, okay, we understand that there can be change in the requirements. Business can make a decision that yesterday they said something and today they say we want to go the other way. So we embrace change. There's a high scope for flexibility, whereas in Waterfall, business has to come up with all the correct requirements in analysis phase. We get the approval. Once the document is signed off, that becomes the Bible. Even in Waterfall, we do accept changes, but there's a altogether different workflow for that. We'll discuss in detail how we manage the change to the requirements, because ultimately at the end of the day we work for the business. So if they say that there's a change in requirement and this software will be a piece of crap if we don't incorporate that change, ultimately we have to make sure that we deliver what they are asking. But there is a stringent way of accepting the change. Here in Agile, we tell them we are open for change. We will take up change in your requirements, in your decisions. Let's get our hands dirty early in the game. Let's show you something. Then you decide it looks good or not. Okay. So customer collaboration, very high, as you can see by now. In Waterfall, it is there, but medium level. Team ownership is high because everybody is responsible for everything. It's not that Parveen did not understand the requirement. She wrote something. I kept telling her, this is not what I meant, but she said, this is how she has written, and then it got built like this. So there's no he said, she said, because we are showing it to them how we are building the software. They can see it live. Team ownership is high, and in waterfall it's a little low. Applied learning very high because everybody learns from everyone. They're all co-located in one room. No one is waiting for BA to provide them the food on silver platter with the silver spoon. There's no spoon feeding happening. As I said, business SMEs are co-located. So if developer has some questions, he or she can approach the business needs. They are there, and that's the purpose. No one is waiting on BA to conduct the requirement session and then document it and then get approval on it, and then I will start writing code. As I said, get your hands dirty early in the game. Build something, show it to them. If usually people are visual, right? Then they see something, they can comment on it. Oh, this looks good, this doesn't look good. So visual, people are visual. It's more visual medium. Rather than taking them through the process of envisioning something, then articulating it, then telling you, then you take something, you miss out some of the information. So all that stuff is going out here. That we are all co-located. You see what we are developing. You give us your feedback constantly, and we move on once we have your acceptance. Complexity is medium in Agile because we've already divided the functionality into small. This sprint 2 means these 3 user stories. So forget about anything out of this sprint. We are going to deliver these user stories or these functionalities or features by the end of this month, which is sprint, right? So we focus on these user stories, these functionalities. So that's why the complexity becomes medium, because already it's a divide and conquer concept. Whereas in waterfall, we have to understand the complete scope, discuss each and every requirement upfront, envision the product, the application, put it all on the paper, document it in a logical flow, provide the walkthroughs to the business stakeholders as well as IT people, and then take a sign off. So we are doing all the planning and documentation upfront. There are more chances that we went wrong in 2 or 3 or 4 places, right? Functional reviews early in the game, so the users start seeing the functionality early in the game, right from, I keep coming back to the login functionality because that's just to keep it simple. So the moment we build the prototype or we build some basic screens, and from there on, we build the functionality of login, we build the functionality of homepage, we build the functionality of all the various modules or tabs on that application. So one by one, they're seeing it grow iteratively, block by block. The building blocks are created one by one. So they are seeing the functionality and they're using it. So it's early in the game. So if we are going wrong, if we come to know early in the game, that's easier for us to rectify or mend our ways rather than in waterfall where it's late. Okay. Risk mitigation, of course, early. As I said, if we know what are our drawbacks, half the battle is won if we know what the problem is. If we know the problem early in the game, we can mitigate it, or we have a plan B. Whereas in waterfall, it's a little late in the game. There's some circa about agile methodology. You don't have to learn about it, like remember it by heart. No one is going to ask you in an interview, when did Scrum start come into the picture, or when all this happened. This is just for FYI, for your information. Okay? You can go over it, just dates, nothing important about it. So as I was saying, and someone on the phone said, because it's, I don't recognize your voices, so I don't know who said, but someone said that it's chaotic way. Yes, it is chaotic way of doing things. As I said, doing, putting your hands dirty early in the game, but at the end of the day, it's a teamwork. Everybody who is required is available under one roof in that conference room to make the decision. And we say, okay, let's do it first, and we will see what works and what doesn't work. And we'll show it to the customers. They constantly provide their feedback. They see what is going wrong. Sometimes we come up with brilliant things, the developers, the development team, and the customers are way too happy. Like, they get more than what they expected. Sometimes they provide feedback. You know what? Can you just move this screen a little bit here? Can we have those links, what we want on the left-hand side rather than on the right-hand side? So things have been built. It's just that we are moving around. We are maneuvering the things as per the customer preference, as how they see it, what is more comfortable for them. When they see it, they can provide the feedback saying, okay, this looks good or this doesn't look good. It's more about team work and starting the groundwork early in the game rather than, this is the planning phase, okay, here are the pretty documents, all the descriptive documents. This BRD, business requirement document, is completely descriptive. Like, it has everything. We created those documents. Customers say, okay, but where's my software? Because at the end of the day, they need the application, not the document. Agile approach is about implementing the system for the users. Of course, in waterfall also, we implement the system for the users, but what I mean by this is that involvement, constant involvement, so that they have their say. And they have the option of saying something and then taking it back and saying that, okay, you know what, I said this yesterday, but then I confirmed it with someone, so can we change it? Can we change the user interface, the lookalike of the navigational flow? Can we have this first and that later? Can we have those links that I told you to put on the left-hand side of the screen? You know what, because of some logical reason, they want it to be hidden, or they wanted to move it to the right-hand side of the screen, or they want to make some changes in the requirement. So whatsoever reason, if they come up with a change, we have them constantly involved so that they can make up their mind. And they are happy at the end of the day, and they're getting what they actually at the end of the day wanted. Adding functionality based on business priorities. Of course, business has a full say in what they want to take up in next sprint. So in sprint 1, the product owner or the business side of it says what they want to take up in sprint 1 for us to build based on the business value. Same thing in sprint 2. In every sprint, the business tells us what is valuable to them, so we build that. Of course, after validating the reason, as I said, as a business analyst or the IT team, we are not the order takers. That's where your role is. As a BA, you are not the order takers of, okay, business said, I want this. You take a list, prepare a list of all the functionalities, take all the orders, and you give it to them. That's not your role. If that was the case, they can simply hire a typist who will take all the orders and hand it off that list to the development team and say, okay, these are all the features and functionalities that business wants, and go build it. No. As a business analyst, you have to analyze why you need what you need. What is the business reasoning? What if we don't include this? What happens if you don't do it this way, the way you are saying us? So analyzing that needs, those problems, those requirements is what your role is. And after proper, thorough analysis, we document and we tell it to the development team. Embracing and anticipating change. Yes. Always we are ready to accept the change, unlike waterfall. Inspecting, adapting, and responding empirically. What that means is that every month, after every sprint, we have a demo day where we demo what we have built in this sprint So let's say there were 2 user stories in sprint 1, login and home page. We have built it, even though constantly customer or business needs or their representatives were constantly in touch. Even then, at the end of the sprint, which is end of the month, we have a demo day. We show it to all the stakeholders, and that's where we have the opportunity to inspect what we have been doing, right? And then if they say, even then if they say this doesn't look good, we are ready to adapt their changes. Delivering working software often. So the principle, as per the book, as per the Agile Manifesto, after each sprint we have to deliver the working software. Now, after sprint 1, we just develop login. Is the business going to implement that? Like, is it shippable? Is the business going to do anything after just logging into the function, to the application? Doesn't make sense. But the principle is that each sprint we should be able to deliver, that the software should be shippable. We should be able to give it to the customers. They implement it or not, that's a different story. Usually doesn't happen that we implement after each sprint, but the principle is that the delivery that we are going to do after each sprint, that should be shippable software, that should be working software. So that we are not just showing the dummy screen. No, that's not happening. That defies the purpose. We are not showing the dummy screen. We are building the actual software. Because that will be as good as just doing the planning. We are just doing the planning work and we are just creating the dummy screens and showing it to them. But the purpose is to create the actual working software in each sprint. Executing short iterations, which is sprint. So each month we have 1 iteration. We will be building in like the entire software in a building block. So each iteration, each sprint will have something to be delivered, and that's why this is called sprint. The word itself, sprint means we are running. So sprint 1 means 1st of January, sprint 1 starts. Everybody in the team is running, right? They're sprinting, and then we deliver it, the baton, to the customer. We show it to them towards the end of the sprint. Okay, next sprint, which is sprint 2 starts. Again, we are running with something new. Everybody has tasks. They have something to deliver by the end of the sprint, and we deliver by the end of the sprint 2. Sprint 3 starts. So it's constant running. Everybody's on their toes. Okay. Building high-performance teams. Teamwork is very important in Agile, as you can see. There's no longer like in waterfall. The BA is sitting in his or her beautiful, pretty cube, and developers sitting in some other cube, some other section. QA is all together in some other building, or maybe offshore in India, or somewhere else in China or wherever, New Zealand, Australia, and the business users are in some other building, and on top of that, as I said, we don't put much pressure on documentation. Less documentation, more on communication. If communication is the key, if I tell you to do something, as let's say I am the BA and you are the developer, I am the BA and Praveen is developer. If I tell you and you code it that way, you just did it because your team member told you to. Same thing for I am BA and Praveen is developer, and let's say Dimple is the business SME. She tells me today, she tells us to build it in a particular fashion. We as an IT team build it. Tomorrow she comes and says, you know what guys, I want to make a change in the requirement. So we're not going to finger point, hey, you said yesterday this, and she says, yeah, I said this, but I'm changing my, So we are embracing change in the requirement. We are focusing more on the team communication rather than, okay, here's what the document says. Here's what the BRD says, and I will code it as per this document. I don't care. So there's, in that environment, it's more about like, the legal aspect of things. If this line says this and I understood it this way, I'm going to code it. I can prove it that this is what the document says. So there's no such, conflict and, or he said, she said kind of a thing. So high performance team should be there. And that's when those happy hours comes into the picture. That's where team outings come into the picture. And that's where the role of PMs and Scrum Masters is there to have that kind of a happy family environment where if I tell you something, you believe it, you do it, and then if I change my word, I come with that kind of a rapport with you, and I can say that, hey, you know what, Praveen, I'm sorry, I told you this, but that's not what we needed. So that kind of a team rapport should be there. Rather than you telling me, hey, this is what the document says. I have the legal proof to prove you wrong. So that kind of a things are not happening. Benefiting from self-organization principles, so self-explanatory, and documenting what is necessary and valuable. So adopting the lean methodology and cutting out on the waste. Whatever needs to be documented, what is necessary as per the company policies, those auditing requirements, those legal requirements, we document those. Whatever is needed for testing purposes, for record purposes, for project documentation purposes, we just document that rather than having all those 100, 200 pages plans, those guidelines, which no one is going to look at after a couple of months. Even though they're very pretty looking words, they look like beautiful documents, but what's the fun? What at the end of the day they're going to deliver? So less documentation, more communication is the long and short of the story. Do you guys need a break? Let me know whenever you want a break, because I don't want it to be just going all over you and not making any sense. Even though we just have like 40 minutes, if you want, we can take a 5 minutes break and then I can continue for, you need a break? Okay. So I got one word for break, for a quick break, because it's getting too much. What do you say, people on phone?
I'm fine with the break. I think you said that the class is until 1 o'clock today. I think only 20 minutes left, so let's finish it
So
off.
let's take a breather. Okay, let's take a breather for like 5 minutes, and then we'll see if we can continue with 15-20 minutes more. Okay.
Okay.
I understand this is the first day. I don't want you to, be overwhelmed with a lot of information. A lot of information downloaded. So we'll see how far we can stay with Agile. Tomorrow we'll continue with Waterfall as well as Agile if we are not able to complete it today, which I don't see we will be able to complete it today. There's a lot of stuff that we need to do. So let's take a breather and then we'll see how far we can reach. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
All right.
Training is good.
Okay.
Here.
Okay, cool. Okay, so
Not
we will...
scattered.
I try to.
Where do you work?
I am working with Tokyo Marine, North America.
Tokyo Marine.
Yeah, it's a Japanese.
Japanese, yeah.
They took over a couple of, not couple of, but bunch of companies. And that's what happened when I worked with QBE in North America. That's again an Australian company. And during the 2008 meltdown, US needed dollars and Australia had a lot of dollars. So the Australian, Japanese companies that took over a lot of American companies. So QBE, I remember I worked there for a couple of years at Wall Street, New York. they took over like tons and tons of American companies, and now they have a lot of companies under them, under the flagship of QB. And same thing is happening with Tokyo Marine. So they are Japanese company originally, but recently, last year, they took over 4 or 5 companies. So there's a flagship company, and so we, Tokyo Marine North America, we provide IT solutions to all these companies that work under them. So Philadelphia Insurance is one of them. FICO, which is first insurance company of Hawaii, is one of them, and they are on rampage to take over more and more companies. So a lot of fun stuff.
They make you work hard, right, Japanese?
But then they have to work under U.S. laws, right?
Oh, nice. That's good.
All right. Is it me or the voice?
It's hot. It's hot
And
here.
look at me, what
I know. I feel that tomorrow. Oh my God, it's too hot here.
tomorrow we expect more people. A lot
Yeah.
of fun. break it up? Okay. I'm not giving you a headache. Trust me, that's not my motive or intention to give a headache to you. Yeah, we have to do something about it. Yeah. Okay. People on phone, are you back?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So Agile is all about individual interactions more than planning and documentation. So there's nothing happening like as a BA, you created a pretty looking BRD document, 100 pages, pretty descriptive, completely exhaustive document giving each and every detail. If the user clicks on this should happen. If the user clicks on that everything you created in documentation. But you throw that document over the wall and you say, okay, go and refer to the document, live with it. No communication happening between the developer and BA, QA and the BA, business me and the rest of the team. I'm not saying that's how it happens in waterfall, but there is very much possibility that it might happen. That once I've created a document, I say, okay, go and live with this document and whatever you understand or interpreted it and build it. Here, every day we are sitting in the same room, discussions, interactions, human communication, human-to-human communication is more important. Team is more important rather than the document and the plan. Not to say, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, that there's no planning or it's completely chaotic or there's not at all, nothing documentation built, no. It happens, documentation happens, but whatever is required. It can also happen that once we have developed something, users have accepted it, a BA can follow it up with whatever needs to be documented for the future use. Rather than in waterfall, until and unless a developer has a written requirement in the form of BRD, completely descriptive, approved by the business stakeholder or business SME, the coder will not even start writing the code. So they are fully dependent on the documented, approved requirements. Only then they will start writing the code. In here, it can be reversed. So let's have a discussion. Let's talk about the requirements. Let's start building it. Let's show it to the users. If they like it, we can document it, whatever is enough or sufficient for audit or IT framework purposes. And rest, whatever the discussion that don't need to be documented, forget about it. Okay? So it's more about communication and getting the actual damn work done rather than planning, and documenting. People build and implement software, not the document. Okay? So it's people who build the software, not the document. So if we have, at the cost of saying it like 10th time, if we have pretty looking, fully descriptive documents, but software has not been built in the 6th or 7th or 8th month of the project, the third sponsor, there's a high possibility that third sponsor is going to say, you guys did nothing. I don't see anything. What am I going to do at the end of the day of this document, right? So at the end of the day, they want the actual result. Be adaptive and collaborative to find the process that brings the best benefit. So again, agile, more agility, more flexibility, and that means if whatever works, basically, right? So whatever works, we will adapt to the situation, rather than okay, there's one project manager sitting in her, elephant ivory, and she or he created a project plan, and we are executing every day, even though people feel and think that we're going the wrong direction, but no one has the right or no one has that kind of authority to raise their voice or provide their input. Okay? Work with the users to understand their requirements. So users are, the customer is the king. Like we, in our old days, we used to say, right? Customer is the king. So we have to understand what their requirements are, rather than keeping them hostage of the requirements they gave us in the analysis phase. And then there is a completely difficult way of handling the change management in the requirement. If they come up with a change, there's a complete different mechanism. The project manager comes up with the change management process, and it goes to the higher ups that, okay, and in the analysis phase, the business users gave this requirement, now this is change, why there's a change, how it's going to impact the costs, the budget, the timelines of the project, and if the higher ups approve those changes, only then we accept those changes. So there's a different way of handling the change in a waterfall world. But in Agile, we are open, we embrace change. We understand their requirements, and whatever works for them, we give it to them. Another principle of Agile is working software. So we ideally, preferably, theoretically, at the end of the sprint, we are going to give them an additional building block, and that additional building block should be a working software, not just the mock-up or just the dummy screen. Okay? So teams are able to design and build functionality into the application based on business value. With a focus on producing fully functional software, the team demonstrates their progress to project stakeholders each sprint. The stakeholders, the business sponsors, the higher up sitting here, higher up, knows what we are doing, what we did in the last sprint. It's not that after 6, 8, 9, 10 months, or after a considerable time actually, so that they don't know what we did for majority of the time. Did we create documentation? Did we actually create software solutions for them? Or we were just saving, like covering our back by writing a lot of documentation but not providing them the solution. Customer collaboration, another very, very, very basic principle of Agile. Keep them involved. Keep them involved on day-to-day basis. They are dedicated by their business sponsors to this IT project. They become part of our IT team. They tell us, they guide us through. They provide their input. They provide their honest feedback, constructive feedback of what we are building. So work with the users and ensure visibility into the progress being made. Visibility and frequent delivery helps reduce the impact of major changes. So if we keep on demonstrating them what we have done and keep on taking their blessings, their nod, they are into the loop, and there are less chances that on the sprint end day, which is the demo day, there are very few chances that they will say, this is not what I said, or this is not what I wanted, because they saw it. The users can and should provide regular feedback and be familiar with the system by the time we begin the stabilization sprint. So they see the baby growing, they see their home getting built, they see room by room, wall by wall, window by window, each room getting built in front of them, so they are comfortable by the time we are ready to go live. No surprises there. Another principle of Agile is responsiveness to change. Change is inevitable. Projects like 1 year, 2 years are way, way, way too long these days in the dynamic environment of the businesses of today. Business decisions changes, and they have a like, should I say right? Right is the wrong word, but they are spending money, so they should be capable of making changes in their decisions. And yesterday they said something, after a couple of weeks there should be a window for embracing the change. So Agile implementation methodology embraces change. Process supports the management of business priorities and scope. So business priority is what is valuable to the IT team. Okay. So in Agile project, we saw that life cycle of software development. We have first analysis phase, we have development, design phase, implementation, testing, and then deployment. And as I said, everything happens. Analysis, no matter what, if it is agile, waterfall, or whatever methodology, analysis has to happen. Design has to happen. Development has to happen. Testing has to happen. The only difference is when we do what we do and the proportion of. In waterfall, planning is more. We spend a couple of months, 2, 3, 4 months upfront, and emphasis is on planning. We do planning, analysis. A lot of analysis happens, and that's where the term came, analysis paralysis, because we do so much analysis that there's a paralysis. So even in agile, if we say that we start doing it right from the day, sprint 1, yes, that's correct. We start building the software from sprint 1. However, analysis has to happen. Design has to happen. Development, the coding, actual coding has to happen. Testing has to happen. What happens in agile is that everybody, all stakeholders run parallelly. Each and every one sprints parallelly. So BA starts discussion. QA is also present in the same team room. So they know what's coming in the sprint. They can start writing the test cases, their test strategies. Developers, from the onset, from the day 1 or day 2, day 3, they know that in this sprint, this is a user story coming up. Based on their experience, based on their understanding, they start writing the code. So everybody starts sprinting from sprint 1. They start running parallelly, giving on the baton to one another as and when required, backing up each other, providing the feedback, what looks good, what doesn't look good. And developers are also ready and trained in such a way that they can make those configurational changes quickly. If the users or BA says, can we move this next button to continue, and can we have this button here instead of there? The developers are readily able to move around. They are able to configure the system easily. So, inception sprints, we prepare, train, plan, estimate. So what we do is we prepare for what all is going to be the part of this project. That is called the product backlog. So this is something new in Agile, which is product backlog. What that means is that all the features and functionalities, meaning all the user stories which are going to be part of this project, they will be listed under product backlog. And that is created by the Scrum Master. And we'll talk about who the hell is the Scrum Master. Because in the team structure that we read, that was the standard waterfall team structure where we had project manager, business analyst, QA testers, developers, solution architects, and all those stuff. Those are the normal conventional roles. Now with Agile, we have 2 more roles, additional roles to that slide that we saw. So that is, one is Scrum Master and the other is Product Owner. Okay. So the Scrum Master along with the Product Owner, they will come with the product backlog. Now what product backlog is, it lists all the possible features and functionalities, also known as user stories, which are going to be part of this project that we are going to deliver over the various sprints of this Agile project. So we prepare, because usually in these days, even today, not all organizations, not all project teams are Agile ready. So we have to prepare them, train them, because as we go along, you will see how they're different. The deliverables are different. The way we work is different in Agile. So we have to prepare, train, plan, and estimate. Make sure that we have the product backlog, a list of all the features and functionalities ready by the Scrum Master and the product owner in these sprints. Then we have development sprint where we elaborate on each and every user story. So we have the user story and we talk to the product owner, and based on the business value, we take up user stories, 1, 2, 3, 4 user stories that we have taken up. We elaborate on each and every user story. We talk about in further details what that means. If you're saying this user story number 5, and that user story number 5 is login, what does it mean? Does it mean each and every end user have to come and provide their credentials? If yes, what does that mean? What is the login ID? Is that their email address, their first character of their first name and last name, or what are the requirements around the login? Is there any password? No need of password? If yes, what is the strength of the password? All those stuff. So we elaborate on them, constructed functional tests. We show it to the users and get the confirmation. Once all the sprints we have so sprint 1 we delivered, sprint 2 we delivered, sprint 3 we delivered. Now we have to combine the code, right? The code was written in batches. So we have to merge the code and make sure that everything as one piece software works. So end-to-end testing, performance testing, whether the performance has not deteriorated when we merge the code, and UAT, which is user acceptance testing, even though we were showing them block by block building, block by building, block each sprint, but now as a one piece, as a one complete exhaustive functionality, we ask them to perform UAT. And then we transition to support, migrate data if applicable, if from the previous legacy systems or the older applications, any data needs to be migrated to the new application, right? And if is not the right word, because yes, we have to migrate. We can't just say, okay, from 1st January 2016, we're going to use a new application, so all your accounts, the previous accounts, we have washed out, we don't have your data. We can't say to the customers, right? So the older data has to be converted and migrated to the new application where we can access the older data, and a pilot users, a group of bunch of users, they start using the application, and if that is successful, again, the full deployment goes, and then we go in maintenance and business as usual. So if there are, as and when there's a need, there's some defect coming up in production, or there's some issue, production issue, or there are some enhancements, which means people, the users want some more functionality or change in functionality. So as and when basis, the support is required, we provide the maintenance support and business as usual. So as you can see, all the planning, all the analysis, all the documentation, design, deployment, development, code writing happens, testing happens, but we have divided the functionality into small little functionality. We take them up in each sprint. We get them done, everything from soup to nuts. That means we analyze, discuss, document, develop, design, test, demo it, done. Next sprint, same thing. Next sprint, same thing. And we keep on repeating until all the features and functionalities are built. And how we take up user stories in each sprint depends on the business value, and that's when the product owner comes into the picture, and they prioritize and reprioritize the user stories in each sprint. Okay. Any question so far? I know there's a lot of information, but I promise that we will go over again. We will get to know a lot of new things, and then these things will make more sense, and then we'll make it more interactive. You guys are free to stop me anywhere if it doesn't make sense, or if you think that what he's saying doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll make it more interactive so that it's more understandable to each and everyone. Okay, so don't think that since he's saying and he's experienced person, so he might be right. If you have any doubt and question in your mind, there's a high probability that 80–90% of the rest of the class might have the same question. So don't hold yourself back. Ask me the question. I'll be happy to answer you. Okay. Next, we have to talk about the sprint. What happens in each sprint? And that, like, detailed discussion that is required. And I can see that you are having a headache today. It's going over too much, and it's 2:07. If you guys want, I can continue. I'm here until 2:30, but I can see that there's a lot of information that is being downloaded on you. I can just see your face. I can't see people on the phone, so I will take a vote on them, how they feel, and I will keep the rest of the few minutes if you want to. Just give me your thoughts, your comments, what do you feel about what is waterfall, what is agile? Just talk it out. Let me know what you think.
Waterfall and agile are hi. This is Yakshita. I think waterfall and agile are two methodology used. In BA, waterfall is more conventional approach to take the project forward, and agile is modern and more chaotic. And I'm actually take some time to grasp all that information, especially the last page.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this one, right?
Yeah. Yes. Agile project life cycle. Yeah. I'm actually stuck on this. It's just still going on in my mind.
Yeah, and that makes sense because, as I said, it's probably for few people a lot of information. And I feel for you guys because when I started, it was all waterfall. So no two different worlds. You guys are getting introduced to everything is new, first of all, and then everything is like in two models. So don't worry, take your time, and that's why I feel that next week we should take a break. You absorb all that has been told to you today and tomorrow. And I will tell you that I have received emails from people. They go over the stuff, and don't wait for the next week because next week you'll have something new to discuss. This is a boot camp kind of a training, very fast-paced training. So you will have to keep pace, and that's why I will give you 1 week break next week.
Okay.
We will discuss tomorrow also. We will discuss in detail about agile and waterfall. We will switch to waterfall world tomorrow if time permits, so that you will have a lot of things to go over, and you will have a lot of food for thought for the next week. Go over the material, the documentation of waterfall world and documentation of agile world. Okay. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you will have my email. When Neela sends you all this material, she will copy me. If you have any question, you email me then and there. Okay? And I have received emails from people midnight at 2, 1. I'm not saying that you have to burn that oil, midnight oil. But all I'm saying is do not wait until the next class. I am all for personal one-on-one interaction, and that's why I prefer in-class interaction also. But before you lose your thought of train, before you lose that thought, put it that in email, send it to me. I will reply to you. I have the 24 hours SLA, service level agreement kind of a thing that you have to give me at least 1 day to reply. But I reply to all emails, so do not wait for whatever. Okay? So that's the plan. Tomorrow we will continue with agile methodology. Mm-hmm. We will also delve into waterfall world tomorrow so that you can compare and see. And next week you go over all these things. I know most of you people are working, so next weekend concentrate. Just think that you have a training, but on your own, go over the material, ask me questions whenever you get a chance. And then when we meet next weekend, next to the next weekend, We will also be doing a mini project in the classroom based on the waterfall, the chat sessions, how you conduct the requirement session, how you take a lead, how you facilitate, how you drive the conversation, all those things we'll be learning. Okay?
Okay.
That is a very good question because people sometimes they have plans.
Because if you skip 1 week, then it's going to be, after that week it's going to be a Christmas.
No,
Things, right?
no, 20, 21st. Yeah, so 20 and 21st we will definitely have class. We can talk about 27th and 28th because I don't know. I am fine, I'm okay, but if people have plans, then we can talk about it. If you guys want a break, I don't have any problem. Okay? But I'm here. I will do whatever works for you guys. Okay? So, okay, so Yakshita has told me that what she understands about this methodology. Any other thoughts? Anything that you hate Agile, you like waterfall, you have soft corner for Agile, something, any thoughts?
I like Agile.
You like it?
Dividing the priorities and the results we find.
Right? You have support. You have full support system. You have.
Waterfalls is too long. Design, and once you come up close with all the, designing, testing. By that time, you realize that some things happen. So
I think I'll let Papa come. He will do it.
I agree. I agree with you. In Agile, initially I was very skeptical to go in Agile. As I said, sitting with in the same room with so much of crowd. I have in the back of my mind that if I'm browsing something, someone can, look over my shoulder. I have this, early morning I cannot get up, so I just rush to work, and then in my cube I am eating my cereal. So can I do that in the room, same room? Of course I can, but it's like little. So that personal time is gone, but then you are always on your toes. You are more productive. It's a win-win situation for IT and business, and the projects are getting delivered successfully. The rate is more of the successful implementation of the project as compared to waterfall. Again, having said that, I would say that not that every company is shutting down waterfall shop. Waterfall was there, is there, and hopefully will be there. It depends on the priorities. It depends on the company culture. It depends on how much time business can spend with you every day on day-to-day and sprint-to-sprint basis. After a certain time, I have seen business users getting very excited. Oh, we're going to be part of IT team. Oh, we'll have all the fun. But after a few sprints, they just burn down because they're sitting here with us, providing the support and feedback and all that stuff. Plus, sometimes they have to go back and perform their daily duties as well.
I think Agile could be exhausting for the team, I guess.
That's true. But that's why they're paying us the amount that they're paying us. And that's why people get jealous of why do IT people get paid more? But
That makes sense.
There are odd hours. There are times when you are sitting from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sometimes there's a production issue. Someone has to attend to that production issue. Sometimes there's testing going on. Testers have a problem. BA has to be online. Developers have to be online because testing is going on, and tomorrow we have to deliver something, or next week we have a UAT schedule. We have to make sure that all the defects that QAs are finding that are getting resolved. So BA, QA, developers are all burning their midnight oil so that we resolve as many defects as possible before the users come and test it. So there are a lot of pressures too. Right? So yeah, it can be stressful, but then we have to learn we don't have class here. So stress management. Yoga, you have to like yoga. Okay, so Parveen is happy with Agile, I'm sorry. And Yakshita feels that waterfall is conventional, Agile is evolving and modern. Dimple, what do you think?
Hi, Lalit. I think I would prefer Agile too, just giving space for change. Everybody likes change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Natalie, how are you doing? Natalie?
Hello? Yeah, I'm doing good. Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you, Lalit. It came back everything perfect to me. And you know my position, I would like to learn both very well. And depends how the market go. You have to adapt to one or another. So
Yeah, absolutely. Beggars cannot be choosers. So if you get a waterfall and you still have popcorn for Agile, you will go with waterfall project. So yeah, she's right. Okay. Prajakta, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I would like to go with Agile because I think that Agile is the methodology which gives complete satisfaction to the customers, like end-to-end, building block to block, block by block, so that end users will see how it's going to work. So Agile is the best and waterfall.
Okay.
And Lalit, I really like the way you are expressing it, like giving examples of building. If building is a project, then working on that building in a waterfall with waterfall methodology, like from January to December, it's a like huge time span. But in Agile, we are building block by block. Like in every month, we build something and show it to to our clients, and it will work more.
Yep. Okay. Good.
Thank
good.
you.
Good. Q. You there? Okay, we'll come back to Q to see if he can unmute his phone. Sindhuja.
Yeah, Lalit, I think even I'll go with Agile because it looks like more of step-by-step process, and if in case you want to do any kind of a change, you can go back and act according to the customer's will.
Right. Okay. So how about your free time, your browsing, your personal time in your own cube? If you imagine, you have a beautiful cube, you have decorated it well, you feel at home. So what about the crowd? What about everybody watching over? Every time, every minute, every hour of the day is calculated. What you did, what you did not do today. What about that part? Don't you feel like intimidated by so many people in the same room?
That's the worst world.
Yeah, I know. That's part and parcel of, Okay, good. That's cool. Okay, so we heard from Yakshita.
I think Q is preparing to barbecue in Florida.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if he's barbecuing or he's sitting in the beach enjoying his trip. We are here in Jersey, East Coast, and we like such a crappy weather. It's raining constantly. I think Q is already enjoying in Florida. I wish he could give us some report about, some sunlight, but he doesn't care. Q, can you hear us?
He's in Florida, the best place to be.
I know, but he's not giving us any happiness, right? He's just enjoying. Okay. All right. So I'm here. Okay. So any parting thoughts, any suggestions, anything that you want to discuss, or any questions regarding the rest of the roadmap? We can talk about it. But if not, free to we call it a day, and we'll meet tomorrow. Okay. And
Actually, I just have a one quick question. Angel, please, just to my daughter is making a lot of noise. I'm sorry, class. Angel, just 2 minutes. Actually, what I see is Agile is, catching up very fast in the market. Most of the companies are adapting, and like someone said, it's a change. And see, we hardly have any choice. Like you said, beggars can't be choosers. But do you think between these two methodologies, we need to focus on particular one like Agile, and I prepare my questions related to that rather than paying attention to the waterfall, which is conventional and old and kind of going away from the market?
No. That's what the purpose is. So why I am training you in both the methodologies. If you go to the conventional waterfall institute, and they will just tell you what is a BRD, how to create BRD, what you should include in BRD, BRS, and that is the conventional the project. Why I am introducing this new methodology as well, and the deliverables is to make you ready for anything. If you are getting introduced to agile project and they hire you, and you later come to know that it's an agile methodology, you should be ready to go. You should be ready to hit the ground running, and same thing for waterfall. So that is the only reason I am teaching both the methodologies and the deliverables. So you will have edge over those guys who are getting only trained on waterfall or only agile.
Okay.
That's why I not to confuse you.
Good to know both. You never know which one is
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I would say, and that's where I keep saying that your hard work, your passion will start after this training is done. Actually, finishing to listening to me, it's okay, it's easy. But once you're out of this training, after this 5 or 6 weeks, if we include that break also, after these 6 weeks, then you will start realizing, okay, so I have to go over this, I have to understand this, I have to remember, I have to recall at the right time, the right wording, how to articulate. Sometimes people say, I understand everything, but I can't articulate. I know, but I forget things, the terminology is new. So all these things you will have to, take it all in, and after 5 or 6 weeks, keep on.
and you are in the hot water.
You said it. So then you will start joining the darts, and that's when your hard work will come into place, where I say that you will have to do a lot of research, keep on reading. I'm telling you about the user story or agile, okay? You have a whole lot of I'm getting you introduced to these things, but you have a whole lot of World Wide Web available. You can go and find out. Maybe someone else is explaining you in a better word that you understand better. Or I'm telling you in a different way, but when you go online, they're like you have a huge choices where you can click on that link and see what the other people are saying. So go online. There are different this thick books about just agile, just use case, just UML diagrams. I'm not telling you to get overwhelmed and go and buy books now. But what I'm telling you is I'm getting you introduced to these new things, telling you, making sure that you understand. But then it's up to you how far you want to take it, how far you want to go and get into in the middle of those things. Best way would be to understand what has been told here in the class, get expert in delivering those documents, and look for a job. Nothing teaches you better than job. No book, no trainer, no class, no crash course, no boot camp can teach you what the real time job will teach you. Plus, it will give you money also. Your paycheck every 15 days. So, learn whatever you can here. I will teach you end-to-end of business analysis and QA. But getting a job, being passionate, how much fire you have in your belly for the job will take you where you want to go. Not me, not this material, not the online material. Okay? Okay, with that said, I spoke a lot today. We'll try to make it interactive going forward, where you have your experiences, your thoughts, your observations, your comments, and I will have a conversation with you rather than me downloading from one side. Okay, I'll try to do that so that it's interactive session going forward. If not tomorrow, then definitely from next week. Not like next week we are thinking of giving you a break, but whenever we meet again, anyways, it's going to be a mini project, so you all will have some activities, some hands-on. So it's not like I'm talking and you're listening. You will also be doing hands-on. It will be more interesting. Are you guys excited about that week?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so if nobody has anything, then we can call it a day. If anyone has any questions, I'm here.
Thank you, Lalit.
I know, we have to do something about it, and definitely I'm not wearing any sweater tomorrow. Especially with the other class also going on there, and so there are so many people. Usually I have that room, and I like that room better because it's bigger, and it's not this hard. If it's a smaller room, we have to do something about it. Okay, I guess no one has anything, so we'll call it a day, and then we'll meet tomorrow morning 9 a.m. At least we'll try to. And I will see few of you tomorrow in the classroom in person.
Yes. You.
Okay then. Have a good day.
Have a good day to you too. Thank you.
You too, Lalit.
Right.
Thank
For
you.
your time.
Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lalit. You were very helpful. I really appreciate your time.
No problem anytime.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Lalit.
Thanks. And Lalit, we'll be getting an email, correct?
Have a good
You
day.
said?
Not tonight, but once the full weekend training is done, then Monday morning Neela comes and she sends it to you.
And who am I receiving the email from, just so that I can know it doesn't go into my junk or anything?
Yeah, it's from Neela. Neela at itbmsglobal.com.
Neela. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lalit. I appreciate it.
Sure. Welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right.